Welcome, Slopestyle fans. We have a big day in store for us today. For the 8th year in a row, we find ourselves back here in beautiful Innsbruck, Austria, a spot that has become iconic. So many historic moments have gone down here on this course, and the battles that are shaping up here for our 15 men and 7 women are probably going to write some history as well. I'm your host, Cam McCall, alongside Alan Cook, and we're right in the middle of stop 3 of 4 on this 2024 Crankworx World Tour. And I got to talk about this guy right here, David Godziek. It was just a year ago when he backed Emil Johansson into a corner, forcing him to drop for a second run. Emil took the win. Of course, Emil's dominance has gone unshook for the past 5 seasons, but at the last stop in Cairns, Australia, one man knocked Emil Johansson off that top spot, and it was David Godziek.
Yeah, it was definitely an impressive performance out of David Godziek. One of the things that I noticed the most out of that was how much Emil loved that situation, being in that situation. I think he's fully embraced that he's not expected to win now, and he's looking to send some stuff to reclaim that first place.
It's true. We see Emil Johansson love the pressure. He says, all right, I've been dominant. Put some pressure on me, make me perform. Let's look back at Cairns, because David Godziek, we knew he had it in him. He had stacked up so many second places. It was just a matter of time before it came together. Here's that run.
Yeah, David Godziek had an unbelievable run from top to bottom in Cairns, doing incredible combinations, multiple tricks there. You see just non-stop from top to bottom and absolutely perfect on every single landing. And then the last jump, he was able to do it. The 3-whip Kashi.
Well, with the men's field, we have years and years of data knowing who our front runners are, and you know, these battles that have shaped up over the course of the past 5 seasons of dominance from Emil Johansson. But when it comes to the women's field, there was a lot of question marks for who are the top runners going to be, and you know, what are these tricks going to look like? So first women's slopestyle competition took place in March in Rotorua, New Zealand, and this woman right here rose to the occasion, just carrying that energy from the hometown Rotorua, New Zealand crowd, and she really set the bar for the rest of the season.
Yeah, such a special day, not only for Robin herself, but for the women's category, you know. To see her step up to this challenge at her hometown with all the pressure, have to step up her runs all the way through. You know, the riders were jumping positions from run 1 to run 2, and then the vibe. Everybody was just so stoked. The crowd, the riders, the organization, it was an awesome day.
So everybody in the slopestyle world went, all right, women's slopestyle is a thing, and it's an exciting thing. A rider who wanted to get involved in the action on Rotorua but couldn't because of injury was Alma Wiggberg. She watched Robin Goomes take that win. She said, all right, it sure looks like you need some rotations in your run. So she added those rotations with variations, and Alma Wiggberg emerged victorious just 3 weeks ago in Cairns. And now we find ourselves in stop number 3, and we've got a real battle heating up.
Yeah, and it's super competitive. You know, just few weeks ago in Cairns, Robin actually bumped up and went into first right before Alma's last run, the last run of the competition, and then she pulled a run with multiple firsts for the female category rotations. It was unbelievable competition to see them just stepping it up.
Slopestyle World Championship overall standings. Robin Goomes taking the win at stop number 1. Alma Wiggberg taking the win at stop number 2. So that puts Robin Goomes as the rider to beat at the top of that leaderboard right there when you add up the points. And we always love following these standings and trying to predict who's going to win. It's just fun. We usually bargain between ourselves, and you can do that as well. Check out the racecompanion.com. It's a fantasy league for Crankworx. We've got it for 2 disciplines on the World Tour, downhill, and of course, what we're focusing on here today, slopestyle.
Yeah, it's an awesome place. It's more than just a fantasy league. You know, it's a place where you can, you know, build your own leagues. You can compete against other people. You can interact. It's just like a little community for you to expand your mountain bike awareness. There's even games on there, a mountain bike downhill and slopestyle game where you can compete in 3 different modes. It's amazing.
I know what you're wondering. Well, is there prizes? If you're so good at picking winners, are you going to win anything? Yes, you will for the Race Companion Fantasy League. But also, I got a prize for you right here. I got to thank all of you who are joining us on the Red Bull Bike YouTube channel right now. And guess what? This piece of authentic Crankworx Innsbruck 2024 merchandise is only available 2 ways. You either got to be here and buy it from the merch tent, or you have to leave us a wildly entertaining comment here on the Red Bull Bike YouTube channel. Most entertaining comment, as judged by our prestigious panel, will win this shirt. We'll throw it in an envelope. We'll get it to your front door. Wow, we have an exciting show on tap for us today. I would say if you are a slopestyle fan, and you're making some great life decisions right now, because the Nicholi Slopestyle Innsbruck, we're going to be dropping the riders in just moments. Stick around. Slopestyle coming up after the break.
Prepare your bike. Visualize the track. Keep your blood pumping. Every mistake is a new opportunity. Keep your grip loose for the wildest rides. Bike on Red Bull TV.
Crankworx is... it's a crazy thing to be involved in.
It's hectic, but you're in it and you're just like loving it.
A reunion of friends and people in different cultures.
All these cool different locations, all these different tracks.
There's always so much stuff going on. People are just stoked on biking, and they're just stoked to be here.
Hearing so much energy around.
Yeah, we live for that.
Unreal.
Please make sure that your seatbelt is fastened.
Well, we're truly in the thick of it right now. This is stop number 3 of this 4-stop series. And we're right into the Alps for the 8th year in a row. Beautiful Innsbruck, Austria. Pretty unique place in the world. It's very rare to find this urban living atmosphere with such proximity to high alpine terrain and mountain recreational opportunities. And it's been a great stop for the Crankworx World Tour. And we talk about it all the time, but you know, the memories we have from this slopestyle course are part of the reasons why this is such an iconic venue, and we're so excited to return every year. Slopestyle course similar to last year. Let's see what it's looking like in this 2024 edition with this GoPro course preview.
Hello, my name is Emil Johansson. I'm here with...
I'm Tom Isted.
and we're doing the GoPro course preview for Nicholi Slopestyle 2024. Follow along.
Let's do it. Let's go for a little lap with Emil. Starting us off with a nice little foot jam. Oh my God. What a guy. Yes, boy. Sick one.
Well, 9 trickable features there and 15 in the men's field, 7 in the women's field. The big question is, after watching so many days of successful practice, what tricks are these riders going to choose, and will they be successful in linking them together with the pressure on? A look at our women's start list, Alan.
Yeah, we got a couple of new faces. Kathi Kuypers actually coming out of retirement to come here and do this event. Super awesome to see her out here. Looking forward to seeing what she can do on this course. Caroline Buchanan, we've seen her. We've seen all the other riders out there. Lisa Marie Blanc, she's also a new face. Someone I just got word that she's been riding mountain bikes for 1.5 years, and now she's on the biggest stage in the world. Imagine that pressure.
I mean, it's a big deal to have women's slopestyle. A lot of these riders are just excited to be a part of this. Caroline Buchanan is one of them. She's so accomplished in so many different disciplines, but she decided to refocus, not pay attention to the queen standings on this 2024 season, and just become a slopestyle competitor. She'll be third to last to drop. And of course, the rider leading the series, Robin Goomes, will be the final to drop. It's a best of 2 format. After run number 1, we will get them back up and re-rack them in reverse starting order with the highest score going last. But as you mentioned, we're going to kick off today's competition with Kathi Kuypers. I love that story. You know, she's competed in so many disciplines in her career, and you said she always wanted to be a part of slopestyle, but she thought the timing wasn't going to work out for her.
Yeah. When they were first kind of, she was really a big part of the movement to get to this point, and it was kind of looking like 2026 was going to be when it was going to finally happen, and that just looked a little too far out. But it got fast-tracked at some point, and here we are in 2024, and she could not miss the opportunity, and it's so awesome to see her get that wild card, go do an event, get a wild card, and be here to have fun. That was what she said. It was cool. She's like, I'm just here to have fun today.
Well, we're looking forward to watching her have some fun right now. Kicking off this competition here, Kathi Kuypers.
Yeah, just that huge drop-in right there. These features are huge. Some of the biggest features that we have on the World Tour, as you mentioned, big blind step down. Coming into these hips. It's one of the unique things as we work into these riders that are doing rotations. These hips, they change those rotations for them just that little bit. Kathi making a clean run. Getting the suicide no-hander off that last set. She said she was here to have fun. That looked like a lot of fun to me, Cam.
Yeah, it's great to hear the perspective from Kathi Kuypers. Just so excited to be a part of this discipline for the women. You know, this is going to take off in 10 years. It's going to be crazy to see what kind of tricks we're going to be seeing in this field. And to be a part of it right now when she thought she never would be able to, I mean, taking off on features that are as big as this second feature in front of these fans has to feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? I saw her kind of warming up some bar spins and stuff between practice and this first run. I think, she just got the jitters out right there. I think we might see some more stuff. But look at the size of the gap right there.
So Kathi Kuypers kicking off the show for today, finishing things off with a suicide no-hander. Of course, the name of the game is having the ability to trick all 9 of these features. So she has a smooth one in the bag and plenty of room to improve for run number 2. But you're right, especially when it's your first time competing in a discipline, you just really want to get one in the bag because it's a type of scenario that can snowball if you have a crash on run number 1. But now she's got something to kind of fall back on and a little room to experiment in run number 2. As we take a look back up to the top of the course where we have our next rider preparing to drop, the youngster out of France, Lisa Marie Blanc. You know, it's not easy to earn points to get an invitation for these competitions. You have to prove yourself on the lower tier events. She got a first place at the Outdoor Mix Festival, a second place at the Dury Dirt Contest in Poland. She was 4th at the Burrell Bike Fest. And now here she is in Innsbruck on the biggest stage this sport has to offer, Lisa Marie Blanc.
Yeah, going huge over that first jump, keeping it smooth. Again, like you mentioned, just getting through those first runs is so important for these first timers. Getting a nice toboggan there on the second hip. Smooth over, keeping her momentum. That's one of the things that can snowball. You case one jump and you slow down. It compounds all the way down. And a huge backflip on the left side. Hold on to it. Lisa Marie Blanc sends the backflip on the last jump and just barely holding on to it. That was awesome.
All right, well, we're ramping things up here. Take a look back at this run from Lisa Marie Blanc.
Just look at the size of those transitions between the landing of the step down and that first jump. It is massive.
That's a thing to consider here. You know, like last season, this did not exist. Women's slopestyle on the Diamond Series. These jumps are gigantic just to make it through. I mean, take your list of riders in any lift line at a bike park. How many of those riders, what percentage would actually bite off the task of dropping in top to bottom? Here, this flip almost over-rotated.
Yeah, she got on the brakes right there, was going off the back end and got bucked almost over the front end, but was able to muscle it.
Rear brake!
And hold on right there. Yeah, never even touched the ground, so I'm not sure how much that'll take off of her score.
So after 2 stops previously this season, we've seen that where the level of competition is if you want to be on that top spot, you have to have at least 1 rotation in your run. So Lisa Marie Blanc accomplishing that goal. Next in the gate, though, take a look at who we have. Alma Wiggberg, the winner of the last stop. And you know what? She knows what it takes to win. We caught up with her about run 1 strategy. This is what she had to say.
I just try to get my run in the first go, and then I guess I adjust the second round. If it's going good, I maybe do something different in my second round and try to do something harder, or otherwise just keep it safe and try to get the first run.
Well, she knows that this formula works. Alan, she did 2 rotations in her run. They both had variations in them. This is run 1. You want to be relatively safe to get something in the bag. What are you expecting from her in this first run?
You know, Alma was battling a little bit of soreness from a crash earlier, so I think I think her plan is spot on. You know, getting through that first run, maybe not leaving it all out there, but just getting through. Let's see what she's got. Nice big backflip on that huge entry jump. So looking really smooth right here, doing a nice toboggan. See what she's got. Another flip on the hip. Looking really clean right there. A little bit of a dead air right there, but she's keeping her momentum going. Up onto the whale tail. Little table off into the final jump. What does she have?
Come on!
And there's that 360. Perfect rotation right there. And if this is her just get a run done, we're in for something special on run number 2, which is exactly what she had to do. You know, it was interesting hearing her talk about her strategy right before her final run, which she was the last competitor down in Cairns. Robin Goomes was able to one-up her and put her in second place, but she had those extra tricks in store, which I believe she does at this point as well. Walk me through this, Cam.
Well, you hear us get excited at a couple points in this run. This was the first time she backflipped the biggest jump on the course. That's obviously going to score high when you consider the previous run we saw backflip the smallest jump on the course. You want to start strong, you want to end strong. We were expecting her to have some kind of rotation on the last jump, but I was not expecting this right here, Alan.
Yeah, we were not expecting this flip on this hip, so you actually have to rotate. She's flaring a little bit, 90 degrees, to make her wheels come around and catch that transition and be pointing the right direction for the next jump, which is actually a hip the other direction. So super technical spot to throw in that flip variation. And look at the trick list there, just racking up the points along the way down.
So you heard us get excited right here, the final jump. The reason is right before the competition started, we saw her go for this, but it didn't go as clean as we see here, did it?
Yeah, she was able to fix her mistake. You called it out, Cam. She needs to drop her shoulder. She came around a little bit front end high in that warm-up and slid out, but she did exactly what she needed to do.
Well, we're waiting for the score right now. If I'm a bet man, I'm going to say this is going to go into the lead. Of course it does. 89.75 is the new score to beat from Alma Wiggberg. And you know what? She talked about strategy in that soundbite, and her strategy was perfect in practice. Last practice run, going for that 360, crashing it, and fixing that mistake when the pressure is on. Alma Wiggberg was the winner of the last stop and is now the one to beat as we take a peek at the next rider ready to drop. An update for all of you Harriet Burbage Smith fans. She is unfortunately not going to compete. She had a crash in practice, but we do have next up into the gate, Shealen Reno. She was 5th at the first 2 stops. She's very consistent. She has some of those upright tricks, which can score high if they're technical enough.
Yeah, she's got a deep bag of straight tricks right there. No-footed can-can. One of the riders that we saw upping her game in each run at the previous events this season. Looking really smooth. Nice. No-foot can, that's the other direction. I'm not sure which one was her opposite, but one of those was. Nice knack-knack. Getting a toboggan. Now, what's super important here, Cam, that I'm seeing is she is tricking every single obstacle and gets a nice stretch nothing on that final jump, tricking every single jump along the way down, and that is going to rack up the points. That will go a long, long way for that overall score.
I would say if you're not going to rotate, then you better trick every single feature. And knowing what she has that she can pull from in run number 2. This is going to be a great run to sit on and expand upon in run number 2. We saw her with a pendulum in cans.
Yeah, a pendulum is actually when you do a no-footed can, which is that trick right there, and then you kick it back across and do another one the other direction before putting your feet back on the pedals. But what was interesting is she then stepped up her game on this next hip. Watch, nice tuck no-hander, and then she does a downside no-footed can, which is her opposite, I believe. So she's doing them both directions on different jumps, so I think maybe we might be seeing that pendulum again with that comfort she has doing those tricks both directions.
She's shown us she has the versatility to can both ways. She showed us in cans she can put them together in one jump. And I gotta say, if I'm choosing which direction to do a can on a hip, I usually choose topside. It's definitely harder. You see her landing a little bit sideways with that downside choice there on the no-footed can on the hip.
I like that, looking really steezy on the way down.
She did a great job of putting filler tricks in on some of these smaller features and then ending with a really technical combo right here. The nothing, I'd say she's gonna get good points for that because she got both hands and both feet off. She probably could improve upon the style a little bit. You don't really want those legs going forward, but she's shown us at the last 2 stops that she's really good at stomping run number 1 and then improving upon that in run number 2. You just heard her say it right there.
Yeah, moving into second place right there. Already in the second run.
Incredible first run from
Already
Anna.
thinking about stepping up, so I'm excited to see what she's got.
Well, what has she not done on 2 wheels? She's a 2-time queen of Crankworx. She's a BMX racing Olympian. She was the bronze medalist at the first stop in Rotorua. She was 4th place at the last stop in Cairns, Australia, her home country. And let's see what she can get on this second jump right here. She was working on a big extension move in practice. Can she put it together?
Yeah, here she goes on that first jump. We saw her working on some stuff. Let's see what she's got, and gets it off right there. The Superman seat grab, Indian stepping up her game even from our predictions. Suicide no-hander down the step down. That is a completely blind takeoff. Tuck no-hander on the first hip. Another tuck no-hander on the other hip, so able to do it both directions. X up onto the whale tail. Oh, looks like a little bobble there. And then a Superman seat grab on that final jump. So locking in on those Supermans. Gets a nice little knack-knack on the quarter pipe. Maybe only one opportunity missed with that hand bobble, but really, really solid all the way down.
Well, we see the formula here at Caroline Buchanan used to hop on the top or the 3rd step of the podium in Rotorua, and she can rotate. We've seen her, nice extension. It was actually an Indian air. She crossed the legs there, Alan.
Yeah, stepping up from what our prediction was. We thought she was warming up for just a plain Superman seat grab, which is what she did on the final jump, but stepping it up to that Indian air definitely steps up a level of technicality, and then really clean on these tuck no-handers on the hips. Hips don't lie. And then right there, it almost looked like she did a clutch adjustment on her motorcycle. Not sure what she was going for right there, but then able to get that Superman seat grab off. We've seen better extension for sure, so definitely some more to come back with.
So she has a formula right now. It's working for her with a 3rd at the first stop, a 4th at the second stop, but we have seen in speed and style in the past, she does have rotations. She has what it takes to rotate right here, but there's different strategies that can put you on the podium. She's really leaning on this strategy of filling up all 9 features with a trick. You mentioned missing a trick on only one feature. It was the step down on that whale tail feature, which is the wooden structure you jump into and then jump out of. But I'm really curious to see where this score is going to stack her up in the rankings. The judges taking a little bit of time on it because you have to weigh this out. If there's missed opportunities for a trick in a run that had multiple rotations, well, what means more?
Yeah, it's definitely a tough call. And also, one of the other things that the judges might be looking at in that last replay we saw, came up just a little short on that Superman seat grab. I don't know if she lost a little speed because of that bobble on the step down, but when she did get back on, but was a little bit short and actually got bucked quite a bit forward, did a little nose wheelie, but was able to hang on to it. We know that Caroline, probably one of the fittest women out here, trains incredibly hard for this, so every push-up coming into play.
Well, sitting in third place right there, we know that even if she does that same exact run in run number 2, and she extends those tricks more and polishes it up, she could potentially move up the rankings depending on what everybody else does. And by everybody else, right now, the last rider to drop in run number 1 is the current leader in the Slopestyle World Championship Series for the women, Robin Goomes, the first ever gold medalist in Crankworx World Tour Slopestyle for the women. She took that gold in Rotorua, New Zealand at stop number 1. She took the silver at the last stop in Australia, and she's on course now.
Yeah, Robin with a nice X up on the drop-in. Big backflip on that first set. Let's see what she's got on this step down. Suicide no-hander, landing really smooth, high on the transition, able to get nice pump, really nice height and extension on that lazy leg. Nice can there, and she's racking up those points. Tuck no-hander up. Toboggan down, so she's making it happen right here on the last set.
Oh!
Was that a flip bar spin or a flip X up?
X up, and you know what? That's exactly what she needed to do. She almost missed the trick coming out of the whale tail, and if that was the case, she would not have tricked all 9 features, but she was able to muster out that toboggan, and she needed a rotation on that last jump. But you know, putting a little spice on it with a variation on that backflip never hurts. We saw her do that backflip X up in Australia.
Yeah, watching here, looking how clean this backflip is. Pops really high in there. You see her head come around, spot the landing, a little over-rotated, but not too bad at all. Plenty of speed for this next jump. Talk to me a little bit, Cam. I know you flip a lot. Talk to me about how you slow down that rotation when you look around the first time you see the landing. It's a little bit too soon.
Well, you got to make your body big, increase your rotational inertia, and we saw her misjudge a backflip earlier in the week in practice, and so we know she's really like down to push her limits. We saw her try to backflip the dirt-to-dirt step down. She misjudged the speed and the snap and ejected, fell out of the sky. We weren't sure if she was going to compete today, so we were so excited to see her on course, and she judged the rotations on both those backflips absolutely perfectly today. I can't wait to see a replay of the backflip X up on the final jump. We're gonna really be able to see if she got those bars all the way around to 180. Here it is, sneaking out that toboggan.
Yeah, and right here into the final set. Leaning back, Xing it up, gets that bar across the seat.
And see, she straightened out her body there to slow down that rotation. I would say she's doing a backflip variation right there. It could have been a little bit cleaner. The X-up wasn't completely full. You want to see that front wheel and those handlebars all the way 180 degrees turned around. But you're not seeing anybody else out there doing backflip X-up. So what will the score be? The score to beat, 89.75. And the numbers coming in from Robin Goomes. There we go, 94.5. Robin Goomes takes over the lead.
Oh yeah, that's a huge jump right there in points, and I think we can attribute that to tricking every jump along the way. That is so important to not have any missed tricks down the track.
Robin, you tricked all 9 features. You had a backflip variation on the last jump. You're sitting on a 94.5. You're the rider to beat right now. Talk me through the earlier practice sessions in the week. We saw you have a big crash on that dirt-to-dirt step down. What was it like getting back on the bike?
Man, honestly, I was so shook. I got really freaking stoked. I just took the step down flip to dirt. It went really well for me, and then the next day I went to link it into my run, and it just didn't work out. So this morning I got back on the bike, and I was pretty nervous, but yeah, I just wanted to have a run that I was having a lot of fun with, so I think I did that.
Well, we're so excited to see you on course because that was a question mark for us. We enjoyed watching you have fun. Congrats on that 94.5. You got the score to beat.
Thank you.
What a run there. I mean, she is solidifying herself as the rider to beat. Of course, she's not flawless in her rankings at the first 2 stops, but she's racked up enough points to be the leader of the Slopestyle World Championship Series, and she's the leader after run number 1 here in Innsbruck, a 94.5. But Alma Wiggberg with that backflip and that 360, she's biting at the heels.
Yeah, so here's the thing that's set up. This is the opposite of the situation that we had in Cairns, where Alma was the leader and Robin had to one-up going into the second rounds. We know Alma's got more, we know Robin's got more, but another another layer to this situation is both Robin and Alma are the only two women that are up for the Triple Crown with 2 wins. They each have a single win. So not only are they battling for this win, but they're battling to stay in that Triple Crown hunt.
Can't wait to see how this shakes down. Well, of course, this is the big show out here. This is the biggest crowd we've seen all week, but there's been so much fun the past few days. Hanging out here in the venue, there's no shortage of things to be a part of. And if you're not able to be here at the venue with us, the best way to make yourself feel like you're a part of it is to follow Crankworx Innsbruck on Instagram. Follow the Crankworx Instagram page, and we'll limit your fear of missing out by showing you all the action going down here. We've had all these different disciplines. We've had dual slalom, speed and style. We had the whip off. Big show right now, slopestyle, but we got pump track coming up later tonight. All the fans are having a blast out here at the venue, but the riders as well. They show up early. You gotta make the most of your time when you're in a beautiful location like Innsbruck. Let's take a look at what these riders get up to outside the tape.
I think Innsbruck is absolutely lovely. It's like you have the mountains, you got like rivers. Also for biking, there's hills on every side and trails and dirt jump spots, skate parks, you name it. Basically everything you need, I guess.
It's got one of the most iconic backdrops ever. To wake up, you just have those epic views, and it's, as I said, it's the postcard backdrop. It's absolutely spectacular. I always feel like this one and Whistler has the most amount of fans. They're always right there on the sidelines. I really love that.
My favorite memory was Brett Reeder and Nicholi Rogatkin's battle when they went like back to back and both stepped it up.
The score coming in for Brett Reeder. 95.66, it is not enough. Nicholi Rogatkin is your champion here at Crankworx Innsbruck.
Probably one of the best events I've ever watched.
And there you have it.
That was an iconic moment for women in sport.
Unreal.
We've had some really epic moments here at Innsbruck.
Let's go!
It is bittersweet. Final time coming back to Innsbruck, but this time, yeah, to debut women's slopestyle here in front of the audience. Yeah, I think to see all the girls last year have a taste of the course and do practice, yeah, it's amazing this year that girls will be doing top to bottoms. Over the years, it's been amazing to see Innsbruck really flourish.
The tricks got bigger and every year the runs got better and gnarlier, and I don't know, I just feel like the sport is definitely progressing here.
Crankworx Innsbruck, I think to me has been the moment in my Queen of Crankworx titles where I've really elevated. Yeah, just epic. Cool.
Well, a lot of memories out here for the past 8 seasons in Crankworx Innsbruck in great conditions today. Thank goodness after the schedule switch up, swapping Saturday for Sunday. The winds are calm as we take a look at our men's start list. Okay, anytime we're gonna start a slopestyle competition and the first rider to drop is Nicholi Rogatkin, you know you're in for a good show.
Yeah, Nicholi definitely sets the tone of the event. Once he drops in, it seems like everything goes crazy, and to have him as the first drop in, that is not totally normal. Can you explain to me what led to that with the point situation?
Well, the way these invites work, it's kind of a complicated scenario, but it's built to help the riders. There is a points freeze if you have an injury. Remember, we saw Nicholi Rogatkin break his wrist in Cannes in the 2023 season. That has been longer than 52 weeks ago, and that is the timeline that those points freeze situations exist on. And so he's low in the points actually right now. Even though he had a 4th place in Cannes, it's not enough to get him up into one of those top spots to be dropping later in the competition. So he will kick off the competition out there today. The last 2 riders to drop, though, will be, of course, David Godziek and Emil Johansson.
Yeah, David Godziek and Emil Johansson to drop last is going to put so much pressure. here in the crowd, and I'm so excited to watch them execute those runs and have this whole place explode.
That's exactly what's been happening the past 8 years here. Anytime Nicholi Rogatkin takes to this course, the crowd does explode. He has so much history with these fans. Of course, big moment in 2018, taking the win. His battle with Brett Reeder was legendary. And then a second place in 2021 during his battle with Emil. He is a crowd favorite to say the least. He has the 4th most Crankworx Slopestyle wins in history. His last result was a 4th in Cairns. He picked up right where he left off. Here we go, Alan.
Yeah, one of the things we can expect, we saw him warming up, was the twister on this first huge double. We know he's got big tricks on the drop-in. That's going to be the telltale thing. If he can get this drop-in smooth, look for something big on that first jump. Nice 360 exit pin, lands in the right spot. What do we got? And there it is. That's that 1080-degree rotation, aka the twister. Big cork 7 on the step down. Double tail whip on the first hip. Kashi X up on the next hip. Superman C grab up, bar spin backflip down, coming into this final set. And he nails it, a huge double backflip straight to the tires. And finishes off with a double tail whip. That was a solid way to kick off this competition here in Innsbruck. Nicholi's saying, that was okay, because you know what he's got inside his head is nuts.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What a great run top to bottom there from Nicholi Rogatkin. Not only a great way to start off this men's field, but you know he had doubts in the back of his mind after so much time spent off of the competition circuit, healing that wrist, and when he came out to Cairns, he proved to himself and everybody else that he could pick up right where he left off, and he's doing it again here in Innsbruck.
Yeah, we see him kind of disappointed. If we could maybe go back and look at something that he did on this, it was a little bit further down here when he's going up to the whale tail, but right here he is on point, doing everything to plan, a perfect 1080 corked rotation over this massive jump. We anticipated to see it, and he executed perfectly.
Take a look at the hips right here. I was saying, you know what, this double tail whip was so lazy and perfect, which is going to score execution points from the judges, but this might be one of the reasons why he's shaking his head. He has so much time there, he might have been thinking triple, but you know what, there's always run 2. What else do you think he's shaking his head about? Let's see.
Yeah, right there. That's Superman C grab up. That was supposed to be a Superman C grab one-hander, where the only item on the bike that he's holding onto is the seat. Really technical, but he's able to recover mentally, get his trick on the step down, and then this, an absolutely perfect double backflip.
I mean, the bread on this sandwich is pretty banger. A 1080 up at the top of the course, a double backflip to finish things off. You see this reaction here? We know you have more in the tank, Nicholi. We've been watching you for enough seasons. So going into the whale tail, that Superman C grab, not only could he improve the extension on that, but he's got something in his back pocket to add to that Superman C grab as a variation as well.
Yeah, we see it down here, X up there. Superman C grab, one-hander, not a backflip bar. Oh yeah, Superman C grab, one-hander, 2 backflip bar spin out. The Superman C grab was what he did, but what we want to see is a Superman C grab, one-hander.
I was like not feeling on it. So I did like a double whip instead of triple, like didn't do the super seed. So I was like, I need to embody the confidence. 85 for the first 5. Let's go. Yeah. I can improve on that. I'll take that. Let's go.
Well, any speculation we had about what Nicholi's thoughts were from that run, we didn't even have to do a headset interview. We got all the thoughts right there.
So he's got multiple areas in his mind where he could make up. That is amazing.
So coming at you from the alternate list here today, unfortunately, Max Langell with an early morning practice crash out of the competition, making room for the #1 alternate, Ben Thompson, the youngster, 21 years of age from BC, Canada. Spent plenty of time up at Whistler as a kid. I remember him from way back then. At Joyride last year, he was the rider of the day, fan voted. Here we go.
Yeah, Ben Thompson going huge right here. Front flip, no hander to bar spin. Flip, double bar spin on the step down. Gets a crank in, got his speed. Truck driver to downside tail whip. Straight into double tail whip on the hips. Flip bar up.
Man, this is a clean
double
run.
truck out.
Come on.
Oh, just misses. The 360 double downside whip on that final feature.
No! Ben! He was so clean the whole way. It's such an insane mental challenge to be on the alternate list all week and then get word morning of finals that you're going to be into the competition.
Oh, I didn't even see the fast plant. I missed that right there. Fast plant 360 down right into this front flip no-hander to bar spin. And the control on these hips. Now you guys hear us talking about hips. What that means is the jump is not totally straight. It's an angle from lip to landing, and there's two of them back to back. One goes left, one goes right. Now what that does is these riders are as good as they are because of the repetition, the amount of time they put in doing these tricks. And when anything is different, it adds a level of complexity and them having to almost relearn how to do the trick on the course. So on those hips, they're either having to over-rotate or under-rotate just a little bit with those spinning tricks, those tail whip tricks. It's really, really technical riding out here.
I would have loved to have seen what the score would have been if you were to have stomped this 360 downside double tail up to cap off this really clean run with the exception of this final jump. But we'll have to look forward to run number 2 from Ben Thompson to see if he can pull it all together. A lot of transfer there. Pulling hard off the lip. 45, leaving plenty of room for improvement there for run number 2 from Ben Thompson.
Pressure is on.
Yeah, you know, this guy got a text. They woke up, they know he's riding. They're gonna come back and watch that second run for sure.
Well, what's the story with Slopestyle in 2024? Well, I would say 15 riders and no slouches when you got Nicholi Rogatkin and then an alternate in the form of Ben Thompson, who's at such a high level. And then you get Max Fredriksson, a rider who's been on the podium in Slopestyle, recovering from a crash at the last stop and rallying to make it here in Innsbruck.
Starting with a bar spin tail tap up there. Nice little 1-foot invert 3 on the drop in. Double tail with backflip and comes up a little short. Slips a pedal, but he's able to maintain with this next jump right here that he does a double truck on. Being a step down, you can use that to your advantage if you're low on speed. Downside double tail up there. Flip bar spin to tuck no hander, so we know it's not exactly what he wants, but he's keeping it going. 3 down, we know he's got more there. Finishes it with a triple truck driver, so that's a quadruple combo, 4 tricks in 1. A 360 with 3 separate bar spins.
I think he squeezed 4 in there.
Was that 4?
And you know what, if it was 4, it's so similar to last year's run number 1. He had things that he could have improved up top, but he kept going and then snuck in that quad truck at the bottom. Here's a look back at the top of the course. Ooh, mistake started here.
Yeah, he was a little bit short on that. I'm not sure what happened with his speed. He went so high. Sometimes when you're doing flips, you can over pull up. You can pull back a little bit and it'll affect your trajectory going forward. Not sure if that's what happened there, but this is where he started to recover a little bit. Looking really clean on that backflip bar spin and tuck no hander.
Was it not a slow rotation on that? For a second, I thought he was going to come in too nosy.
Let's count these bar spins. 2, 3, and 4. Absolutely amazing quadruple truck driver. I remember Core Tour in 2000 when I saw the first quadruple truck driver ever.
And now it's a thing that Max Fredriksson has done at the end of a run as an improv trick 2 years in a row out here in Innsbruck. You got to consider we saw Nicholi Rogatkin drop a banger of a run with some room to improvement. We saw Ben Thompson, second rider, drop with the crash. Now Max Fredriksson with plenty to clean up from that run. It's got to be sitting in second place right now, but the judges making sure that they come up with the right number here, knowing that there's still 13 more riders to drop. There needs to be room for them all to be ranked accurately. A 69 for Max Fredriksson.
Yeah, let's not forget that this is actually Max Fredriksson's first run this season out of Crankworx. Unfortunately, like you mentioned, having to sit out from that uncharacteristic practice crash on the quarter pipe of all things. Unfortunately had to sit out in cans. So that was actually his first run. So getting the jitters out maybe a little bit. I expect to see him a little more on point in the next run.
Well, speaking about coming back, we have not seen this next rider, Alex Alanko, since the 2022 season. He's fought his way back to the Premier Series here. The Crankworx World Tour is where all the diamond stops in the FMB World Tour take place. He has been on the podium. He had a third in New Zealand in 2019. It's great to have him back. Let's see if he can capitalize on this opportunity.
Big bunny hop double truck driver into a front flip tuck no hander, almost over rotating him, but you saw him open up and slow that rotation down. Big cork 7 on the step down. Massive trick on that blind jump. Flipping hip number 1. 450 triple bar spin on hip number 2. Tail whip in. Flip can out of the whale tail. And flip tail whip. It looked like he wanted a little bit more on that last jump. Oh no!
Oh no!
I'm not even sure that quarter pipe is counting on scores today. I heard there was maybe a possibility because it was really soft in between there, so that might not affect his score. We'll get a word on that in a minute.
You know, I was just about to say a clean top to bottom run, tricking every feature until he fell in that quarter pipe. I'm hoping that doesn't hurt his score too much because there were some big moments here, including this cork 720, almost over rotating here in this dirt to dirt step down.
Yeah, and there's that 450, sorry, triple bar spin. He did hang up a little bit there, but he got right back on the pedals and maintained momentum to carry all the way down to this flip bar spin. You saw his hand kind of twitch there. That tells me maybe he had a bar spin or something he was trying to do after that flip whip and then just missing the hand. His weight getting a little bit behind him.
So Alex Alanko will have to beat a 69 if he wants to go into second. He's not going to do it at 52.75. Definitely getting docked for crashing on that quarter pipe. I guess that answers our question.
Yeah, that does answer the questions. The quarter pipe is in play there today.
Well, it's great to see this rider back as well. The Italian, 30 years of age, Torquato Testa. Huge crash at Joyride 2023, left him with a broken pelvis. A long road to recovery. He was back in Cairns, but not able to compete because of another injury he sustained filming. Actually severed a nerve in his bicep area and decided to take a little bit more time to recover. He's definitely still affected. Less strength in that arm. But his best result is a second in New Zealand in 2017. He returned to form last season, and here we go, he's on course.
Yeah, big commitment with that pull backflip off the drop and over rotates that backflip tail whip attempt right there. He's limping it out, unfortunately, there for Torquato. Another rider with his first run of the season, limping it out. Hopefully we'll see him back.
That's too bad. I mean, that's the same trick we saw him use to find himself in fourth place here last year. I believe that was the backflip, no-footed can-can to tail whip. It's a combo that you only see Torquato Testa doing.
Yeah, that's insane. I didn't remember that happen, but after you say that, yeah. That was, I think he's the only one I've ever seen do that combo. There it is, that pull backflip. You're basically just riding off a diving board blind. It looked like he kind of went for a little bit of a Superman, which may have sped the rotation up. Let's see what right here. Oh, a little bit of a kick. Yeah, it was hard to tell exactly what happened there. You see something?
Well, yeah, I mean, last year we saw him with more distinct extension on that no-footed can. It almost seemed like he realized right away that his pop was too aggressive off the lip, that he was going to over-rotate. He was trying to slow it down, stall it out, get that tail whip started early. Hopefully he learned from that right there and he can polish it up for run number 2. Of course, is a best run counts format. Each rider getting 2 attempts at this 9-feature course here. And a rider who usually fits multiple tricks in on each of these 9 features is the strongest rider easily in this entire field, the biggest rider. He's a powerful hulk of a human. 3 second places in his resume. If there's anybody who is poised for a win who has not yet earned one, it's this guy right here, France's Tim Bringer.
Oh, backflip, tuck no-hander off the drop-off. Yeah, double tail whip to bar spin on that first set. Okay, here we go. Double backflip to perfection on the step down. 450 double tail whip.
No pedals.
Oh, no. Oh, get on! How did he do that? How did he save that? Double bar spin up. Truck driver down.
Come on, finish strong. Double backflip.
Double backflip in. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, man.
Was that an opposite bar spin 360 to downside tail whip? And somehow when he kicked the bike, it didn't even move, and it looked like he was going to get stuck backwards. But he ended up just staying with it and never saying die.
Like, that's a huge flat drop flip variation right there. The backflip tuck no hander. And then we saw him do this last year as well.
Yeah, backflip, double tail whip to bar spin. I mean, he had plenty of time. The jump is huge. And then coming in here, this is so impressive. Double backflip on the step down. When you ride around that berm, all you see is a lip and a valley, nothing else.
I really thought he threw it away here.
Yeah, there's that truck driver to downside, and he didn't quite get the kick the way he wanted to. He ended up just using his arms to muscle that bike around.
He got hung up on the tire trying to get out of the way of the bike to kick that tail around, and then right before the point of no return, he was able to get a little bit of purchase with that right foot on the bike and kick it around. I have never seen something look so close to a crash that was stomped perfectly.
Yeah, almost reminiscent to that last run we saw of Emil last year. Something magic here in Innsbruck. What has he got on this quarter pipe, which we did hear does count for overall judging officially, so quarter pipe counts.
Wait to see what this run scores. I believe the score to beat right now is an 85 held by Nicholi Rogatkin. This run was packed full of bangers, and the judges knowing it, making sure they do the right thing. The backflip tuck no hander off the flat drop, the backflip double whip to bar, the double flip step down, 360 bar to downside whip. Does it all add up enough to better the 85 of Nicholi Rogatkin?
Look how chill Tim is right now. Remember what he just did like 30 seconds ago. That shows some confidence in his riding and abilities.
What do you think, Alan? What do you think?
I'm gonna give him a 90. That was amazing.
Yo, Tim, you're
all right, the score coming in for Tim Bringer. Will it better the 85? There we go, a 90.5. Tim Bringer is the man to beat.
90.5, setting the tone, and the score to beat.
3 silvers in his trophy chest. There's only one more step to go. Will that run be enough to hold up? We still have some heavy hitters to come. The next of which is a youngster who we are so excited to see drop into his first Crankworx Slopestyle appearance. He was present in Cannes, but he wasn't able to take to the course. He was still healing up from a crash on the Gold Series. But considering the level he's on in practice, considering the training facility he has at home in BC, this kid is gonna be somebody to look out for. Chance Moore.
Yeah, Chance looking unbelievably strong and comfortable in practice. Double truck driver on the step down. Opens up with a nice double flip. Perfect rotation. Cork 720 straight in, front tire first. 360, 450 double tail whip. Flip bar to bar. This is a solid run. 360 can up, flip tail whip down. Just look how clean everything is. Front flip, bar to bar.
Yes.
And then flaring the quarter pipe. Okay. Everything was perfect.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
It made my voice crack.
I heard that, that never happens. Every single trick was so clean. Of course, the judges have multiple criteria they look at on their scorecards. Execution is one of them, and he really checked that box.
I'm gonna ruin it by throwing that second bar when you fucking stop that shit.
Nicholi letting us in on a little behind the scenes right there.
Nicholi never afraid to root for his competitors. That's the way this works out here. You want to stomp your run, but you want to see everybody else stomp theirs as well. Of course, you want to come out on top at the end of the day. But all these riders knowing that this is such a big high-pressure moment for the Crankworx Slopestyle rookie here, and man, he made good use of this opportunity.
Yeah, he did, tricking every set on the way down, not only with unbelievable variations in his trick selection, but look how perfect he lands on everything, especially this Cork 720. Look at this front tire, straight in, exactly where he wants to go. Plenty of momentum and confidence for that right there, the 450 double tail whip, and just keeping the triple combos coming all the way down.
Some of these moves are moves that were iconic in earlier years of slopestyle from riders like Brandon Semenuk, things like that Cork 720 on the dirt-to-dirt step down, and then this, which is coming up out of this whale tail, the backflip tail whip. He's taking tricks that have won Crankworx slopestyle competitions in the past and linking them together in a run with absolute precision. Front flip, double bar spin to cap things off. I'm so glad he didn't throw it away here.
I mean, so much variety in that. What didn't he do? Like, that was impressive from top to bottom. And there's Nicholi congratulating his Specialized teammate. Always happy to root for his competitors, as you mentioned.
The score to beat a 90.5, needing to better a 69 to crack into podium contention. Will the judges reward? Wow, look at that! Chance Moore rewarded for his precision and flawless execution. 93.25, Alan?
Yeah, I didn't doubt you, but you called it out. You said you thought we were going to see something special from Chance today.
Let's go.
I think that's what we just saw right there. The judges rewarding him for the cleanliness of that run, I believe. As I was saying, everything was absolutely to perfection.
Yeah, they just told us something. Obviously, the bangers of Tim Bringer were no match for the precise execution. We saw Tim with a minor bobble in his run, and obviously that's the reason why they like Chance's run better. Every trick was perfect, but we got plenty more to go here in run number one for the men. Griffin Paulson about ready to drop in. Best Crankworx result, a 6th in New Zealand last season. Currently second in the FMB Gold Cup standings. He's gonna take a mulligan on this one.
Yeah, a little bit of a hang up there on the quarter pipe. You know, that means his head is thinking in front of him. I'm looking for a big front flip combination on this first jump. What's he got off the drop in? Big backflip. Coming in. Flip, suicide no-hander. Double backflipping the step down, coming in. A little bit of a wobble, but he recovers to that. Oh, and flips his pedals. That flip downside whip on that first hip. That's where those little technicalities make those tricks so much more difficult on that hip. So that changes the rotation. It just changes it just that little bit where it becomes unfamiliar. Makes it so much more difficult.
So I think our chat is going off right now because, of course, judging can be subjective. The bangers of Tim Bringer versus the precise execution of Chance Moore. I am looking forward to seeing a bit of a side-by-side comparison of these runs right here. What do you think the judges were thinking when you look at this trick list for both these riders?
I mean, I am glad I'm not a judge. That's what I'm thinking while I'm looking at this. But yeah, looking at it head-to-head, what could be done? I mean, like I said, it's really only that cleanliness. We did see, let's remember, in Bringer's run, he barely made that 360 bar spin to downside tail whip. And Chance was so perfect from top to top, or top to bottom. I think that's the only thing I could see, really.
Yep, you know, it was the 360 bar spin to downside tail whip. It could have been cleaner. I was just so impressed that he even stomped it. I like seeing that sometimes, you know, on the edge, and the ability to save something that could have gone sour. But the cleanliness of Chance Moore, right on that same part of the course, he had just a clean backflip double bar spin. He also had a really well-rounded run where he backed up that backflip double bar spin with a front flip double bar spin on the final feature. There we go, back to Griffin Paulson here. before the train came off the tracks. The double flip on the dirt-to-dirt step down. He got to the pedals on this backflip tail up over the hip, which obviously is way harder to do than if it was a straight jump. Hip meaning that the landing is offset and angled from the takeoff. But that's all it takes to bring one of these slopestyle runs to a screeching halt is 1 foot coming off of those pedals. And that's why the judges reward precision, because it's so hard to keep everything in line on 9 features. So next rider to drop right now, Jake Atkinson, in his second Crankworx slopestyle appearance. He was 9th in Cairns just a few weeks ago. Let's see what he can do here. He's got the experience now.
Foot jam to bar spin, showing his technicality right off the bat. Right into a truck driver, a little under rotate now. Let's see if he has enough speed here.
Ooh, needs the speed.
Gets the cash roll and does come up short.
You can tell right away where he landed off that first feature. The big question was going to be, is he going to be able to clear the biggest jump on the course, which is the second feature? If you were to stand at the bottom of that jump and look at it and say, hey, I'm going to cash roll this thing, which is basically a front flip 360. It's a 720-degree rotation. And I'm going to come up short crash, but I'm going to be completely fine. You believe that?
Yeah, so let me walk through here what happened coming off that drop in. He didn't quite have enough speed, but what happened is he compounded from the very beginning. That first technical trick he did, when he popped off the foot jam into the bar spin, he landed a little bit low on the quarter pipe, and now that made his speed a little bit less than he needed off the drop. And to do that, you have to pull that 360 to get the distance. And when he pulled, he under-rotated the 360 just ever slightly, and he wasn't able to have enough speed on that first jump.
I feel like the corky step down, like the first drop, you're like, okay, I'm on. And then the corky step down, once you land that, you're like, okay, I'm on. You felt the same? Yeah.
And then I went a little crazy on the super dot, but like went really far right on the 2
Yep, here we go. Erik Fedko looking smoother than anybody in the field during practice today, and that's what the fans know him for. They know him for his style, they know him for his precision, and the judges obviously rewarding precision today. We've seen him pushing his limits today on that second feature of the course, that gigantic dirt-to-dirt double. Big question is, can he get the big variation we saw in practice here with the pressure on?
Yeah, we saw him pulling some massive tricks right there. A double backflip, tuck no-hander. We saw him tucking in, getting comfortable. But it's game time. Let's see if he can make it happen here in front of this Innsbruck crowd. He's looking comfortable, though.
He's no stranger. 7 podiums, 3 second places. Erik Fedko, here we go.
Little bar spin tail tap, getting into the flow here. Straight backflip off, coming into this big, huge first set. There it is. Perfect. That double backflip, tuck no-hander. Oh, and he misses a trick right there. Just straight flipping. But he's able to windshield wiper on that hip jump. Yeah. Windshield wiper again. The other way. Double truck driver up, flip tail whip down. This is a massive run. And gets that cork 7 on the final jump, coming into the quarter pipe. Smooth flare. So really the only dark spot you could see is on that step down. It looked like he was trying to do a bar spin variation in that flip, but everything else was absolutely insane. See the emotion coming out of him. Saw him at breakfast today. He was like, let's go, I'm ready, let's do this. You can see that all coming out right now.
We were wondering if he was going to get this, Alan.
Yeah, we talked about this double backflip tuck no-hander, and he did it. Look at the extension. Absolutely as big as it could possibly be with that extension. And watch his wheels. Watch the timing on this. The wheels hit the ground at the exact same time. The timing to be able to do that is amazing. And there's the windshield wiper there one way. Windshield wipers again, the other hip.
That is so tech. The second one he did is the way we see Emil Johansson doing it, but the fact that he did it with the downside first on the first hip, such a well-balanced run. Coming up a little bit short there on the Crankworx 720. If you were to critique this run, it's that moment right there coming up short on the last jump and the straight backflip on the dirt-to-dirt step down, the third feature on the course.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he was going for on that step down, but we know he's got more than that straight flip. Let's see if we can listen in. 93.25 to lead right now.
That double flip no-hander, it was such bigger extension than what we saw in practice. The biggest part of that run for me was the hips. The left hip to the right hip. 360 windshield wipers, both directions. Stoked! There was a time when just doing one of those 360 windshield wipers was mind-blowing on the final jump when we saw Emil Johansson unleash it. And now Erik Fedko's linking it both ways on hips. The judges knowing that's a heavy link, and they give it an 82.5, good enough for fourth place right now. And Fedko obviously hoping for a little bit of a bigger score.
Yeah, I mean, that's just telling me how much emphasis, we saw this in the women's field as well, how much emphasis there is to not miss a trick. Now, he didn't miss a trick, but we knew that he wanted more in that moment, and that is the only thing I could see that the judges would be taking into consideration there. So perfection is what it's going to take to win out here, and Lucas Huppert is a rider that can do it.
Lucas Huppert had a huge moment just 12 months ago when, after so many fifth places, he broke onto the podium with a bronze medal here in Innsbruck. He was sixth at the last stop in Cannes. He's got a big move on this second feature as well.
And there it is, the 360 tail whip on the drop-in, straight into the twister. Oh. Just under rotating the flip portion of it. Looks like he got a pretty big hit on his butt there.
Man, that's a shame. We saw him stomping that so clean in practice. Both of us mentioned actually that it was maybe the cleanest twister that we'd ever seen. He hooped out.
He did, yeah. We kind of expected him to try to link that together there. Trying to see maybe where it went wrong. Slightly under-rotated on that 360 tail whip on the drop-in, which is an unbelievably hard trick to do, to generate the rotation of the bike to be 360 degrees ahead of your body's rotation. Usually you have a transition to really build that momentum and that whip off. You get that snap. You don't get that when you bunny hop. You have to muscle it. And it looked like maybe his front end was a little high, slightly under-rotated, and it took away his momentum. He actually had to get a pedal in before that twister, which we didn't see him need to do in practice.
That 360 tail up off of the start feature, that flat drop, is a big risk, big reward move that we only see from Lucas Huppert.
Our current leader, Chance Moore, right there, walking on water, heading back up to the top. Our current leader.
Imagine what he is feeling right now. The man to beat in his first Crankworx slopestyle appearance. Well, this guy is reaching veteran status here, Paul Couderc. Can he knock Chance Moore out of that top spot right now? Paul Couderc, second place last year in Whistler, which was his first time cracking onto the podium. Most time you see people earning a bronze their first time on the podium. Paul Couderc skipped that third step. Can't wait to see what he has in store for us now.
Yeah, podiums can be addictive, and Paul Couderc wants to make it a habit right now. What's he got? A bar spin backflip on the drop-in, straight into a double flip. All right, now he's starting off with a couple of huge bangers. Bar spin to bar spin backflip on the step down. Gets that 720 on the first hip. Actually, it's an 810 on the hip. That opposite cork 7 on the next hip. 360 backflip down. This is a huge run for Paul Couderc. What's he going to finish it with? 360 double tail whip. And gets the single tail up on the quarter pipe.
Yes.
Paul Couderc absolutely stoked. That combination on those first two obstacles, flat drop, flip, bar spin, first of all, straight into the double backflip on the biggest jump on the course. Unbelievable run right there.
That's one of the best runs of his life, and I didn't want to say anything about it before he dropped in, but we talked to him before finals started. He said he had a crazy crash yesterday.
You did it, bro.
Wasn't sure if he was going to be able to ride today, and then he drops this hammer.
Yeah, that flip bar spin dropping right there is going to go huge with the judges. Straight into that double backflip. That shows nothing but confidence, skill, and control of everything that's happening on this course.
I am always so tense in these hips. We've seen him for years doing the link of the regular 720 to the opposite cork 720, and I'm always just like rooting for him to squeeze out the rotation. This is the cleanest we've ever seen him do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Technicality on technicality. We talked about how hard it is to bring those tricks to the hip jumps, how it throws it off, but he's doing 720 rotations in both directions, back to back on the hips. That's a technicality sandwich, Cam.
I was so worried that he was going to throw it away here. He did not phone in this last jump. He goes for the 360 double tail whip straight to pedals.
Yeah, it looked like the arm.
Little bobble.
Yeah, a little tiny bobble there. It looked like on the second tail whip, his arms got slightly ahead of the rotation and it stalled just a little bit, but Paul is no stranger. And as you said, a veteran out here, he was able to recover. Minor bobble there. Not sure if that's going to affect his score too much, but we know the judges are looking for perfection out here today.
So just to crack into the top three, you got to beat an 85. When we watched Nicholi Rogatkin drop that run and that 85 popped up, we saw him excited that it was that big of a number, but we also saw him disappointed with his performance. He has so much more to add. But, oh, look at this, the level of competition, insane. Paul Couderc slotting into second place with a 91.87, and now all of a sudden, to get into podium contention, you need better than a 90.5.
That is an absolute deserving score for Paul Couderc right there. We were talking a little bit earlier in Kansas. I thought maybe he was a little underscored going early in the run there, but man, that is deserving and fair and what Paul Couderc has been searching for.
Way to go, Paul Couderc. As this story continues to progress here, Tom Isted at the top of the course. There's a pattern emerging. Last season, out of the 4 stops, he either crashed both runs or he landed on the podium. He crashed both runs here to start the 2024 season in Cannes. I think if this pattern continues, he's ready to get back onto that podium again. This course definitely suits his style. What does he have for us?
Yeah, it's going to be massive. Starts out with a flare on the quarter pipe, landed really high, keeping this speed up. Gets that corked flip on the drop-in. Massive double backflip. The confidence these riders have to do that, starting their runs, blows me away. Massive cork 7. Right into an opposite cork 7. The rotation on that is bananas. Backflip, tail whip, front flip, no-hander. Come on, get it. Gets a straight air right there. Into a cash roll. The same trick we saw him crash in run 2 in Cannes. Run 1 in Cannes.
Oh, come on. Now I don't want the pattern to continue.
Where did that start? Did you see a spot where maybe that crash at the end might have started?
As soon as he snapped the front flip into the whale tail, you could tell that it was going to turn into a salvage mission till the bottom.
Yeah, the flare on the quarter pipe was a risky move because he had a big trick on the drop-in, but he was able to keep it perfect with his speed straight into yet another perfect double backflip on the first set. I can't believe that's what I'm saying, but that's what I'm saying.
This is regular. Watch the opposite one. I don't think I've ever seen a cork 720 quite on the same axis.
Yeah, that rotation, he's spinning completely upside down the entire time into the flip whip, and then this next obstacle is where you saw maybe a little bit of a holdup.
Coming in under-rotated on this front flip. I'm just surprised he even made it off. His knees were bent. He was under-rotated. And of course, he was going to get docked for the dead sailor non-trick out of the whale tail. But like you say, Alan, this is so reminiscent of what we saw. Run number 1 in Cannes. Exact same crash on the casserole on the final jump.
Yeah, he didn't quite have the speed he wanted, and having to, bend his knees and tuck up that bike, trying to get the thing to rotate around. It just under-rotated a little bit on the flip part of the spin.
So now we're looking for Tom Isted to break that pattern. He crashed number 1. Now we need him to stomp run number 2. as that was a throwaway score. Ooh, boy. This guy, the only rider to beat Emil Johansson since the dominance of Emil started in 2019. He's on course right now. He backed Emil into a corner just a year ago here, but had to settle for second when Emil rose to the occasion. We heard from Nicholi Rogatkin earlier in the week. If David Godziek stomps his dream run here, he said, oh boy, that guy crazy.
Yeah, and he's been thinking about this run since he walked away from Cairns. His comment was he had more. This is our opportunity to see it right here.
Here we go. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. David Godziek on course.
Flip bar spin on the drop in to warm it up. What's he got right here? Twister, no-hander. That's a no-handed 1080 degree rotation. 360 whip down on the step down. Double tail whip, 3 tail whips right there.
Oh, no! Oh, going for 2 bar spins in the cash roll on the first hip. Not able to pull it off.
Just coming up a little bit short on that spin rotation. Landing back tire and bucking him off.
He's looking to up the ante. We've seen him doing cash roll bar spins on that jump. Knowing that this is the big show, he wanted to add an extra bar spin. Let's take a look back.
That right there, the no-handed twister, absolutely nailing that. The height, the extension on the no hands, the rotation coming around perfect on the flip and the spin. Landing high on the transition, keeping his momentum. 360 tail up right there. Looked like he got on pretty fast, maybe had something else he wanted. And then right there, coming up just a hair short and bouncing. No rear suspension on that P3 that he's riding. Just kind of bucking him. But kind of a new trick right there we haven't seen out of him. Cash roll double bar spin on the hip, so another level of difficulty right there, and you see him get bucked off. Frustrating, but a safe crash, so he will be back feeling 100% for the second run.
So the pressure will be on for David Godziek in run 2. Good to see. He appears to have managed to get out of that crash relatively unscathed. One more rider to go here in run number 1 for the men in the Nicholi Slopestyle Innsbruck. The score to beat held by the youngster, the rookie, Chance Moore, a 93.25. Well, this guy up here, the winningest slopestyle rider in Crankworx history. He's been undefeated on this course since he started winning. We asked him what it is about this course that he likes so much.
It's kind of always been a course where I've kind of felt like I could bring something more to the table than the other events. So yeah, this course is slopestyle to me. So
that's so good to hear right there. This course is slopestyle to me. We've seen him thrive on this course over the years. Some riders have a hard time with it because the 2 main trick jumps are hips, but Emil Johansson eats that up. He's running 58 PSI front and rear on his Maxxis Icons. And for once, we're seeing him at the top of the course as a rider who did not win the previous stop, something we haven't seen since he started winning back in 2019. Dominance like we've never seen in this sport. 3 Triple Crown seasons, 13 event wins, and only 1 asterisk, which came last stop. Emil Johansson, as we saw last year, waiting on wind. All right, he likes what he sees.
Yeah, the sock's looking good, so here we go, nose jam. 360 can off the drop in. 360, double tail whip. 360 tail whip there, opposite direction. Truck driver to double downside. Now doing it the opposite way with a single tail whip, barely staying on course, goes for the front flip up, not something we normally see. Misses the tuck no-hander there. Oppo bar spin. Was that double tail whip, Cam?
I believe it was an opposite truck to tail whip. He likes what he sees.
Good shit, my boy.
We saw a couple miscues there, something we're not used to seeing out of Emil Johansson. And with these judges judging today, they're looking for perfection. So it's anyone's game out here today. It's very interesting to see what the score will be.
What's crazy, though, is you have to consider that these riders aren't judged against themselves. The fact that we know he has more in the tank is irrelevant. The judges are comparing this run to the 93.25 of Chance Moore. An instance like that, we saw him with a 360 triple whip just a year ago, but once again, not being judged against himself. There we go, the opposite 360 tail up on the step down.
Yeah, on that step down there, he barely was able to get that around, and I don't know if that compounded into this move right here. Opposite spin, 360 to downside tail up, and barely staying on the course right there, landing out in the rough. For you golfers, to put it in perspective, he's able to pitch his way out of there and get back up on with this front flip. Missing that tuck no-hander, opposite three.
So that run was so close to coming to an end on the second hip, literally inches away from going off course. And the judges are going to have to score this for what it is, because on paper, this is such a huge run. It may not be the biggest, most technically profound run we've seen Emil Johansson perform here on this Innsbruck course, but is it enough to better the 93.25 from the rookie Chance Moore?
So much technicality in Emil's runs with opposite bar spins, opposite tail whips, opposite spins, mixing those in single jumps.
And technicality, like in the case of the start drop, the nose press 360 one-footed can. You're not seeing anybody else do that, so what are the judges gonna do with that? Yeah, 360 double whip off of the biggest jump on the course.
And he is not mailing in that nose press. It's more almost like a nose manual. He gets about 3 feet on the front tire before going off the edge.
That is a good point. All of the tricks, with the exception of that missed opposite 360 tuck no-hander out of the whale tail, all the tricks were done with the precision that you'd expect out of Emil Johansson, but also precision is the name of the game today based on what we've seen from their scores so far.
Absolut top. Emil Johansson darf hier noch einmal durchschnaufen.
In order to crack onto the podium right now, he's got to be in the 90s. In order to take the top spot, he's got to be past the 93.25. Insane level here today. Top 3 scores in the 90s. Nicholi Rogatkin sitting out of that podium contention with an 85. And this is the moment here. The judges knew that this day would come when they were really having to take their time with Emil's runs, because the rest of the field has risen so high after the past 5 years of dominance. Well, this is what the judges are looking at right now, Alanko.
Yeah, this is a trick comparison. This is the trick list from top to bottom for both riders right now. Emil Johansson trying to beat that 93.25 from Chance Moore. What do you see right here?
What I see is the word opposite completely absent from the right column there. The run of Chance Moore was perfect, but I don't see it containing any opposite tricks. I see a whole lot of really technical opposite maneuvers from Emil Johansson's trick list. And this is the kind of stuff that really gets our chat blowing up here. A lot of slopestyle fans with some serious opinions when it comes to the technical opposite maneuvers of Emil Johansson. A lot of people over the last few years were getting tired of seeing him win, but you can't deny how difficult these tricks are.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like we were kind of picking it apart because we expect perfection. But plenty of things out of Emil Johansson. See what it is.
What's it going to be? A 95.25. Emil Johansson goes into the lead.
That technicality coming through strong right there.
He knew it. You know, we watched that run and we went, oh, he didn't get everything he wanted. But he has this sport down to a science. He was celebrating at the bottom of that run. He wasn't shaking his head like we saw from Nicholi Rogatkin. He knew. He had seen all the runs and he said, I think I got that top spot. And he was right. 2 points separating the top two scores. Chance Moore with a 93.25, sitting in second place, which is insane for a rookie performance. I can't remember the last time we've seen such a breakout performance. David Godziek, of course, not completing run number 1, which means he's going to be dropping pretty soon in run number 2.
Yeah, it's crazy. The top 4 scores above the 90 mark. That is a very rare situation.
Well, run 1 from the women and the men left so many questions for run number 2, which is exactly where we're going to pick up right after the break. Don't go away.
It's time again for 3-second free falls and pure thrills in unique places worldwide.
This is going to be the most incredible season we have ever had.
Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series 2024. Live on Red Bull TV.
Look at the time from Stevie Smith. He takes his first ever World Cup win.
The making of a legend. Stevie Smith, AKA the Chainsaw.
He was a bit unpredictable, he was creative, he was wild.
He did have a great life, full of giggles and laughs and adrenaline.
The untold story of a true champion. Long live Chainsaw. Now available on Red Bull TV.
Really awesomely fun.
It is run 2 time here at the Nicholi Slopestyle Innsbruck. And wow, I can't wait to see the rest of this show right now. We're going to pick up the action with the women's field. Of course, Alma Wiggberg, the winner of the last stop in Cairns. She's sitting in second place right now. It's great to have her in the field after missing stop number 1. We're gonna find out why she missed that stop. Have a look at this.
I grew up in a small town, like a bit south of Stockholm. 2-3 years ago, I got more and more into slopestyle, and then I moved up to Falun. There's a big biking community, and Emil lives there, and such a good place for mountain biking in general. When I was really young, around 15, my older brother started to ride the bike park, and I just tagged along and wanted to hang with them. And then I started to find my group of people that I like to ride with, and got more and more into the slopestyle community. Everyone is pretty close to each other, and that definitely makes a difference to always have someone to train with. All the kids are really good, so it's just very inspiring to see. Emil is definitely one of them.
The first time I saw her ride, I think, was 2020.
He always has some good input, and it's always inspiring seeing him to ride. It's a really good environment to practice in and to learn some new stuff. So.
Yeah, it's been good to see her progress.
I went to a pump track competition at the end of 2021. Pump track have never really been biking I like to do and what I do. I just messed up and went over the bars and my shoulder dislocated. I did some months of rehab that winter, and then pretty early in the next season it dislocated again, and then a few times during that year. So I had surgery at the end of 2022, but then just from jumping in the water it dislocated, so it wasn't even bike related anymore. We got another plan for a surgery, and I did a surgery at the end of 2023. At the moment it feels really good. Fingers crossed that it holds.
Sweden's Alma Wiggberg
I didn't have too much expectations when I got there.
Let's see what Alma's got. Gets that flip bar spin around, perfect rotation.
She's on one.
It's more if I'm happy with my run, I'm happy with whatever placement I get.
Toboggan in right there.
Oh yeah.
Final jump. And a 360 toboggan on that big.
Fingers können wir hier noch den einen oder anderen Sundowner genießen und beim schönsten, größten Bike-Festival in Österreich nochmal gemeinsam.
Well, obviously, Alma Wiggberg was gutted to miss the inaugural women's slopestyle competition on the Crankworx World Tour, but she more than made up for it with that win in Cannes, and now she's sitting in second place after run number 1 here in Innsbruck. The score to beat a 94.5 held by Robin Goomes, the leader of the Slopestyle World Championship Series for the women right now. As we sit at stop number 3 of 4 on the World Tour, we are going to drop this women's field in reverse order. Lowest score going first, and then that top score from Robin Goomes. She'll be the final rider to drop. At the top of the course right now, same rider who kicked off our competition today with a clean top to bottom, leaving a whole lot of room for improvement. Only one trick in that run. Let's see if she can dot some I's and cross some T's. This is Kathi Kuypers.
Yeah, Kathi coming back to experience this movement, this platform that's been created by Crankworx, this women's slopestyle. Looking really smooth. She said she wanted to enjoy the day. Getting through both runs is quite enjoyable, much better than crashing. We saw her get a trick off on the last set. She's comfortable there. Let's see what she can bring. And goes for the big no-hander. Able to hold on to it. Bar's getting a little wiggly there, but making it happen. She said this was going to be her last contest. It's always nice to make it to the finish of your last event right there.
And it sounds like, based on what you learned through conversation with her, she just wanted to know what it felt like to be a part of Crankworx slopestyle. And you know what? Only one trick in that run, but she accomplished her goal.
Yeah, that's a strong thing, just to want to know what something feels like.
Saw that video of you backflipping a motorcycle. I think that was a similar scenario.
Yeah, that was exactly one of those scenarios.
Well, next rider to drop will be Lisa Marie Blanc from France. Been really successful on the lower tier events on the FMB World Tour. First at Outdoor Mix Festival, second at Dury Dirt Contest. With some room for improvement here as well in Innsbruck. We saw her finish her run with a backflip that could be cleaned up a little bit in run number 1. She's sitting on a 69.
Yeah, and the most impressive thing about that, she's only been riding mountain bikes for a year and a half, Cam.
That's insane. Let's see what she's got for us here in run number 2.
Gets a toboggan in over that first set. Coming into the step down, just holding on, keeping her movement. X up on the hip, little nose heavy, but able to recover. There's that toboggan on this hip here. Up onto the whale tail. Coming out, let's see what she's got on this last set.
Can we clean it up? There we go, way cleaner on the backflip there to finish off this second run for Lisa Marie Blanc.
Even squeaking in a little topside 1-footer on the quarter pipe. We know that counts. But yeah, that backflip was way cleaner. If you remember in the first one, she over-rotated, had to fully extend her body, grab the brakes, get that landing gear out, and barely held onto it, but that was perfect.
So that was 100% a better run than we saw from her in run number 1. She's sitting in 5th place right now with a 69. What really matters here is the ranking. I don't know if that's going to be enough to move up the ranks, though. The 84.5 from Caroline Buchanan, which is the next spot on the leaderboard, had a whole lot of tricks.
Yeah, it absolutely
but no
did.
rotations.
This is true. Such a good thing, though. Good feeling to be able to finish this contest healthy. So much confidence will be gained, so much momentum for her.
Isn't that the truth? It can be quite daunting waking up the morning of your first Crankworx slopestyle competition. So you're right, the breath of fresh air she's able to breathe right now, knowing that she made it out of this competition healthy in one piece, sitting on at least a 5th place here.
Yeah, the question it answers for her is, does she belong here? You know, coming in and never doing it, you don't know. You kind of have doubts, you have some questions. But this proves that she belongs here, getting top to bottom runs. Something to build on.
There we go. She increases her score to a 74.5, but does not move up in the rankings, which is exactly what we expected to see there. But a great rookie performance from the French rider, Lisa Marie Blanc.
Looking at this first jump right here, this is where we saw Caroline's highlight of her first run. Look for that Superman Sea Crab Indian Air. I think she's got a little bit more in the tank with some extension. I think this is going to be her moment to shine right here on that jump.
Running 40 PSI on the Maxxis Pace tires, front and rear. If she's going to move up into a podium spot, which she has done before in Rotorua, what does she need right here?
Just increasing those extensions, cleaning up some of those things. We've seen her warming up bar spins before. We know she's got things in the tank. We've seen her flip in the past. What is she going to feel comfortable with laying down here in this second run? Currently in 4th place. X up on the drop in. And then misses that Superman Sea Crab Indian Air there. I'm not sure if the wind blew her. She got a little bit sideways.
It's going to be tough to crawl back from this one. Her first run was packed full of tricks. We were hoping to see her extend those tricks more in run number 2, but it's not going to be the case here.
Yeah, she's got her eyes on the prize, you know, making that mistake, knowing what she has in the tank, being able to recover for anything to move her up into the podium position would have been risking too much here today in Innsbruck, so she decides to just get herself down, look ahead. We still got one more stop on the tour.
So Caroline Buchanan will not return to the podium here in Innsbruck.
As soon as I missed the Super Seed Indy, I was like, damn it.
Looking at
my first one though.
Yep, looking at another
Jax, did you get a good shot?
4th place from her 84.5 earned in run number 1. And once again, gets out of this day healthy in one piece. So Shealen Reno right here, we know what her strategy is. We've seen her launch into a pendulum in cans, which is the technical upright combination trick with the freestyle motocross origins. A no-footed can to the right, a no-footed can to the left, all taking place in one jump's worth of air time. Shealen has an 86.5 right now. She's cleanly hanging on to a bronze medal, so already going to be a good day for her. Can she climb the ranks?
Shealen getting that pendulum off right there, slips her pedals a little bit. Will she be able to recover right there? Gets the tuck no-hander off, not only recovering, doing it with style. Getting that crowd involved on the way down the hill. There's that downside no-footed can, toboggan up. Going for the one-footed X up there on the way down.
There we go.
Able to get the nothing off there. So a little bit of a rough start.
I'm just stoked she went for that pendulum. That's what we were hoping to see from her. She went for it. Definitely a few moments in that run that lacked cleanliness. But you love to see her go for her big trick, which is that pendulum on the biggest jump of the course.
Yeah, with Shalen's trick list, a dead sock is mandatory. And when I looked at the windsock when she dropped in, it was absolutely dead still. I knew we were gonna see that pendulum. So awesome to see her go for it. That's the thing that I like out here. These women one-upping themselves, one-upping each other.
Look back at this save, Alan.
Yeah, gets that X up in, and here we go. Boom, one way, then the other way. and then slips that right foot off the pedal a little bit right there. I don't know if she was trying to tuck up the rear end because she was coming up a little short. Actually, like maybe she was a little bit off kilter to the side. Had to throw that foot out as a kickstand to save it. There's the no-foot can one way. Downside off the hip. Look at her readjusting those feet perfectly back on the pedals.
So, you got to give it to her for going for that pendulum, and you got to congratulate her for securing a bronze medal here. Big moment after 2 5th places in the first 2 stops. She's on the podium. Shealen Reno earned that one. And now we get to see if Alma Wiggberg can dig deep, grab those combos. We know she has. We saw her take the win in Cannes. Robin Goomes right now is the leader in our women's field. She gets to sit and watch Alma Wiggberg's attempt.
Okay, you see her right there going through the motions. That was one of her biggest tricks from the first run in Cannes. This jump right here, we saw her flip it in her first run here. I think she might be looking at a flip bar spin on this jump, which would be absolutely insane. We know she has it, but this jump is a lot bigger than the one she did it on in Cannes.
We know she has it, and we know that she's considering it based on her body language right now, and this is exciting.
Yeah, she knows she's got a one-up. This is not foreign territory. She had to do this against Robin Goomes in Cannes. Come on, Alma, you got this.
She can win this competition right here.
Oh, and misses the bar spin right there, but a really clean backflip. She got a table in on the drop. Getting a toboggan in, so really needing to keep this trick list going. Yeah. There's the flip bar spin right there. She tricked us and did it on the hip. Gets the tire grab in there. Suicide no-hander up. Getting a little table in on the way down. What she got on this final jump? There's that 360. Over-rotating just a little bit. Back tire absolutely explodes, but man, so cool to see Alma just absolutely send it and go for it. That's going to mean Robin Goomes, your winner here, and still going for that Triple Crown win with her second win here on the season.
Robin Goomes secures the gold medal. What a battle we have on our hands in the women's field. A game of ping pong. Goomes winning stop number 1, Wiggberg winning stop number 2, and then back to Goomes here in stop number 3. Goomes still alive for the Triple Crown, but Alma Wiggberg absolutely going for it. You gotta love it.
Yeah, so cool to see Alma digging down into the bag of tricks. We thought she was going for that bar spin here. We thought she missed it, but that was exactly to plan right there, to do that first backflip without the bar spin, getting her run going. But then a little bit later right here, she not only pulls that backflip bar spin, but she does it on the hip, Cam.
Look at that foot just hanging on by the toe. So much harder to do that on the hip. She threw us for a loop.
Yeah, absolutely. And then right there, a little bit of a steez going in. And then she pulls right there. She dropped her shoulder, but the over rotation just a little bit and wasn't able to hang out. Watch her rear wheel right here. Let's see if we can see it. Boom! Snipered from the top deck.
You know what? I just realized she was able to keep that right shoulder smooth, keeping it from going over her head. Look, Robin knew right there that the gold medal was hers. And the Triple Crown is still alive for one rider, Robin Goomes. You gotta give it to Alma for going for it though. You know what, that could have easily been the winning run. Really would have put the pressure on Robin Goomes, forcing her to perform in run number 2. Let's take a look back at a run that we can now officially call the winning run.
Yeah, and something to pay attention to here is the tricks on every single jump. She did not leave any points on the track here in Innsbruck. She was able to get tricks off on every jump. Even when things weren't going right here, she got a little bit of a wiggle. She was able to make that happen right there, that toboggan. That could have been the difference. Fully executing that flip X up. And I think that consistency with tricks from top to bottom on every obstacle is what gave her the win here today.
I can't wait to see where the level of riding goes here in this women's field. We got our front runners, riders like Alma Wiggberg and Robin Goomes. Also, Harriet Burbage-Smith, unfortunately not in the competition today, but the front runners who are pushing the limit in this sport. It's just going to continue to rise. Now in this third stop, this inaugural women's slopestyle season, Robin Goomes will add some points next to her name for the Slopestyle World Championship overall, with one more stop left to go next month in Whistler.
Yeah, just a victory run right here. These are so fun when you have it in the bag. Just enjoying the moment from top to bottom. Awesome to see her take her second win right there, giving us a nice flip in that victory run, showing how comfortable she is. And her peers congratulating her at the finish.
Yeah.
The Red Bull shower, gotta love it. I think one of the biggest things that Alma is able to walk out of this contest with is she knows there's some durability in that shoulder. She had a big crash earlier in the week, had some question in her mind whether she was going to ride or not today. Rode absolutely amazing, pushing herself, having a crash, getting up, and being durable is what she can walk away with. But look at here, this is the runs.
Well, the podium is sealed. Shealen Reno with the bronze, Alma Wiggberg with the silver. Robin Goomes takes the gold medal. Wrapping up the top 5 there, the young French rider Lisa Marie Blanc, and Kathi Kuypers can officially say she knows what it's like to compete on this tour, coming out of retirement just to get this experience here. But 94.5, as the dust has settled on the women's competition today, was the score that did it for Robin Goomes.
Yeah.
Robin, come on. A game of ping pong here between you and Alma Wiggberg. What was going through your mind when Alma was 8/9 of the way close to that top spot?
Dude, I was so happy for Alma. Like, she was crushing her run, and I was really excited. But as she got further down the track, I was like, oh, I've got to try really freaking hard. So, yeah, I'm stoked.
What was going to be your approach if she moved into the lead, if she was able to stomp that 360 on the final feature?
Well, I was going to try flip can the first jump and add another flip on the middle ramps, but to be honest, I didn't really want to.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing what you have in store for us for Whistler. One more stop in this World Tour. You are leading the Slopestyle World Championship points. Congratulations, and soak it up.
Yo, thanks, guys.
Well, we got run number 2 for the men coming up, and the score to beat right now for the men belongs to the man, Emil Johansson. It's a 95.25. He's back in position to be the man to beat. Let's learn a little bit more about the champ.
Well, bikes is sort of my life, and it's always kind of been that way. Being out on my bike is what I look forward to the most. No matter at what sort of level of riding you're at and what your capabilities are, we all sort of share the same feeling. The feeling it gives you to be out on your bike and try something for the first time, or just being able to go out on a trail bike ride in the woods with your friends. It's this thing that still to this day puts a smile on my face.
If this is a chance, then why not take it? We can follow the river wherever it takes us, moving on to see what's there to find. We could be like the river, calm on troubled waters.
It still gives me the same feeling and excitement now as it did 15 years ago, when I was just learning to, I don't know, jump off a curb or try to do a wheelie. It all starts somewhere, and it's crazy to look back on where it all started and where it's gotten me now.
So fun to watch what tricks Emil does on what he would consider a chill session at his home jumps, which is groundbreaking. Riding different than the tricks that he chooses in his slopestyle run. He chose the right ones to put himself at the top of these standings from run number 1. He's got that 95.25, which is the score to beat. But really, all day, the story has been about the guy in that 2 spot.
Yeah, Chance Moore stepping up to the occasion, coming out absolute bangers. I mean, you saw something special from the very beginning of practice in Chance. You were commenting on it the whole way through, and he definitely delivered.
I was expecting big things out of him, but also, if you told me the rider in second place after run number 1 would be 2 points away from Emil Johansson, I would have thought it would have been David Godziek, Tim Bringer, Nicholi Rogatkin. So Chance Moore on a breakout performance as we rack up the reverse start order of run number 2 here in the Nicholi Slopestyle Innsbruck 2024. We're getting our looks now of Jake Atkinson in his second Crankworx appearance. Ready to start run 2 for the men.
Yeah, Jake started his run super technical on the quarter pipe and made a little bit of a mistake on that move, and it ended up causing him a little bit of a speed issue that compounded and wasn't able to get through. So look for him to step up here.
He was 9th in his first appearance in Cannes. Got some room to improve here in run number 2.
He's able to pull that trick off again. His speed does look better there. Gets the truck driver off full rotation. Getting that cash roll run. That's where he had a problem the first time. So here we go. Things going to plan until there, maybe a little more on that step down that he wanted. But he's not giving up. He's recovering strong. Backflip tail whip on that second hip there. Opposite tail whip up. Regular double tail whip down, hangs up. He's gonna need some speed, gets pedals in, goes for the cash roll, and how did he pull that?
No way. What in the world?
That was unbelievable. How did he manage to pull that up? A cash roll is a trick that you can give forward momentum to, so you can kind of cheat the lip. You can short the lip by throwing early, but you don't get the height in the trick when you do that. And he just skimmed straight across, landed about 90 degrees under rotated. That was awesome.
I almost thought for sure he was going to be sliding out on that final jump. I think that was an improv move. Obviously, we see riders getting docked for repeating tricks in their run. So the cash roll up top combined with the cash roll at the bottom, I think was an improv move. Somehow able to stomp it.
Yeah, 270 tail whip to bar spin on hip number 1. Backflip tail whip right there. Tail whips going both directions, in and out. 2 times around right there, but that's where he had a little bit of a trouble casing it. You see him suck up that lip and try to get his momentum across, which he does. But he's about 90 degrees short on the rotation, and luck was on his side.
You know what? If it weren't for finding a soft spot right there, we would have seen him slide out just like Tom Isted.
Gets a couple pedals in, manages to get the flare out to finish it off on the quarter pipe.
I'm useless. I wouldn't go that far, Jake.
I'm alive.
Successful salvage mission there for Jake Atkinson, scoring a 64.75.
Jake Atkinson so far. Thank you very much for that performance.
A little bit of a sore wrist he was working with there in that second run.
So Lucas Huppert, we saw him go down on the second feature on the course with a trick that we saw him cleaning perfectly in practice.
Here he comes right here with the twister. A little bit under-rotated on the flip side of it. That is a 1,080 degree rotation, fully corked out.
So nobody else in the field messing with this trick he does off the start tower, the 360 tail flat drop. We saw him do it here last year. We've been seeing him use that at other stops. He needs to clean that, plus the 1080 to give us a top to bottom here in run 2.
Hoopy getting the crowd into it. This is where it all comes down to it. Gets that 3-whip really clean. Gets some pedals in, goes for the cash roll. So he steps down just a little bit, but he's still on pace for a solid run. Flip whip down the step down. Flip whip in the other direction, holding on to it. That was an opposite tail front flip, spinning the bars around 2 times. Truck up. Cork 7 down, looking good for speed. And pulls the double backflip right into the finish corral. 540 truck driver on the quarter pipe. Not what he wanted at the start of the day, but a solid run out of Lucas Huppert.
Always feels good.
He is so consistent, and that was a veteran decision right there to go, I didn't land the twister on run number 1. I'm going to step it down, go for the cash roll, taking 1/360 out of the maneuver to simplify. And just, you know, a lot of times in the back of these riders' minds they're thinking, I need to salvage points and have a successful overall season and a high ranking to stay on tour. He knows what it's like to be on the podium right now. He also knows what it's like to be in the top 5. And deciding today's mission was to salvage, especially when he landed a little bit less than ideal there mid-run.
Yeah, the technicality doing flip whips, spinning the tailless both directions on hip jumps. Front flip, bar spin up. Truck driver up into the whale tail. Missed the cork 7 out. The importance of landing where he landed up high makes this possible here at the end, because you need to have so much more momentum to generate that rotation off the lip. You compress and you load everything into that lip and it explodes off, and he managed to get that speed and bring it all the way into the finish corral.
I mean, let's be real here. This is a huge run, and I'm really curious to see where it fits in these standings. To crack into the top 3, he needs to better on 91.87. Even though we know he had more in the tank, in the same way that the judges had to judge Emil's run against the other runs and not against his own capabilities, they're going to do that with Huppert.
Yeah, I mean,
the score coming in for run number 2, an 87.5. He's in 5th place.
Wow, I didn't.
He likes it.
Bumps him all the way up into the top 5. He was checking a lot of the boxes from the judges that kind of format what we saw them. He had technicalities in opposites. He tricked every set.
So Griffin Paulson, the next rider to drop. Room to improve from run number 1, obviously. And all the capabilities to do it. His best Crankworx result is a 6th.
Backflip drop in. Right into the suicide front flip. Cleaner than his first time around, so he's already bettering his run. Double backflip down the step down. Backflip tail whip there. This is where we saw him having the problems. He's continuing. Front flip X up. 360 bar spin up. Front flip down. Coming in, he's got plenty of speed. Such a casual double backflip. You see him spotting the landing after the first backflip, timing his tuck in and bringing the tires around to the landing to absolute perfection here today.
Huge finish to that run. Front flipping the step down out of the whale tail will score high. The judges know how high consequence that maneuver is, and then linking that into a double backflip.
Rookie mistakes on that first run, so nerves are high.
Yeah, really not even anything to blame him. His foot just kind of bounced off. Something that doesn't really happen in that first run, but he made up for it here in the second run. Huge extension on that front flip suicide no-hander. Double backflip on this step down. This step down being blind makes it so much more difficult to time that rotation because you don't see the landing when you're going off. Speaking of going off, that's what he did the rest of the way down the hill. And this is what you're talking about, Cam, right there.
Look how smooth he lands it. Barely any head slap, right into focusing on the next move, which was a perfectly executed double backflip. The judges like the double flips, especially if you didn't already do one in your run. But he did it on the step down up top. We saw Tim Bringer a little bit docked for that. Let's see how they handle it here for Griffin Paulson. I kind of look at it like a double flip on a step down is different than a double flip on a straight jump, but I'm not a judge.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Griffin! Kommt schon!
Okay, where will this place Griffin Paulson in our leaderboard? A 77.25 puts him in 8th place. Looks like he's happy. He says he'll take it.
For the Canadian, Griffin Paulson.
So in the first few runs here in run number 2, we're revisiting riders with crashes from run number 1. One of the most notable derailments in run number 1 was from this guy here, the winner from the previous stop in Australia. Run number 1 came off the tracks pretty early in the run. Here we go.
Yeah, unfortunately, run number 1 was going amazing right here. Went for the cash roll, double bar spin. Something that we do not see out here. Stepping it up, one-upping himself. We know he's capable.
So David Godziek really wants to beat the 95.25 held by Emil Johansson. We know he has what it takes to do that. Emil Johansson did leave some on the table. Huge opportunity here for David Godziek. Can he capitalize?
Gets that bar spin off, coming in. Flip bar spin on the drop-in. Gets the no-handed twister off. He's looking really good coming into the step down. 360 tail whip. Triple tail whip on the first hip.
Here's the spot.
Goes for the Kashi bar spin on the second one, gets it clean. Bar spin front flip to no-hander in. Truck driver, double bar spin, 360 out. And then the Kashi tail whip, and he does it. Unbelievable run, flares for the cherry on top.
That is exactly what David Godziek needed to do here with all the pressure on in run number 2. Finishing that run with a cash roll tail whip. The trick he used in cans to take the gold, dipping back into that proven formula. Wow, we have a real game on our hands here.
Godziek accepting the challenge and doing what needs to be done. That bar spin, flat drop backflip, straight into this 1080 tuck no-hander with huge extension and perfect execution.
Oh, the hands, the extension.
Just look how big that jump is. Again, barely a head bob out of him. This massive 360 tail whip on the step down.
Veteran choice coming up after this triple whip here. Look at the eyes already planning up.
Making decisions on the next jump as the bike is spinning around in front of him, no doubt.
He's for sure thinking right here, all right, well, I got to fix that mistake from run number 1. He decided to leave one bar spin out of this cash roll. Keep it safe with this cash roll, single bar spin. I would say that decision paid off.
That slow-mo angle is so cool. It almost looks like he does a truck driver and then just like barrel rolls out of it. Nailing that bar spin cash roll. Look at where his tires are pointed, exactly where he needs to go.
Look at this huge combo.
Yeah, bar spin front flip to tuck no-hander up. It stalled him out a little bit. This is where I got concerned. I called it too early. I only called it a truck driver, but he managed to get 2 bar spins in on the step down. And then right here, a trick he used to win in cans. The cash roll tail whip, barely getting the rotation around, muscling it.
Okay, we just saw the full replay, and here are the trick lists that the judges are comparing right now. Godziek versus Johansson. Once again, you see that word opposite sprinkled all throughout the list from Johansson, but look at the bangers from Godziek.
Yeah, it's definitely a different, they're playing a different, different strategy here in this game, and it's really up to the judges and what they're gonna account for, but man, how exciting was that run?
So exciting that they had to choose the smallest font of the day just to list the tricks he did on the whale tail. That was above and beyond the Call of Duty into the step up. The front flip, bar spin, I thought it was gonna stop there. He takes the hands off after that. Here we go, score coming in for David Godziek's second run. What's it going to be? A 96.75, are you kidding me? David Godziek is nuts.
To the top of the leaderboard right there with that run.
Oh yeah. 90.75. The new score to beat, putting the pressure on the rest of the field.
And to think he had to dumb down his run and walks away with over a 96, one of the highest scores that I've seen in the few years I've been doing this. That was amazing.
Going back to his little quote from Cairns, I had more.
Yeah, he had more.
All right, boys.
What an animal.
All right, boys, is right. Ben Thompson, we got some energy flowing through this arena here. Ben Thompson, run number 2 underway.
Yeah, about 45 minutes before this contest started, Ben Thompson didn't know he was going to be competing, getting in a wild card. Unfortunately, Max Langiel going out, but he's looking really solid right here. Flip bar to bar on the step down. Gets that truck to downside tail whip. Perfect. Double tail whip on the hip. Flip bar up, barely getting that rotation around, trucking down in. And this time, nailing that 360 downside tail whip. That's where we saw him have trouble in the first time. 360 double downside tail whip.
So glad to see Ben Thompson put that one to the pedals. Run number 1 was looking so good, and then he threw it away on the final jump.
Yeah, he was able to get the rotation around on the first one when he had that mistake, but he carved completely off the landing, but that one was exactly what he needed to do.
You know, if you think about how high the run from Chance Moore scored, we got a similar approach here from another young Canadian. Absolute perfection here. Let's see, as we're watching in slow motion, if we can find anything that could have been cleaned up. Nothing comes to mind after watching the run once through.
Yeah, that first jump actually I saw in the replay, and I was reminded in his first, he actually did front flip, tuck no hander to bar spin. I saw a little hand bobble, and he didn't get the bar spin in this run, so not quite what he wanted, but he did pull that 360 double downside tail up in the bottom, so I expect this to be a higher score. So casual how he just slides off the back of the bike and gets that tail whip going around 2 rotations with his arms.
His legs point at the sky at one point during that rotation. I was so glad to see him not throw this second run away as well.
Ganz, ganz starke Performance dieses Mal von Ben Thompson.
It's all good.
Ben Thompson's best Crankworx result is a 5th from Cairns in 2022. And right now it's going to be sitting in 9th place with that 80.75 from run 2 here. Back up to the top. Great to see this rider back on the Crankworx Slopestyle World Tour. Absent from the 2023 season, back here today. The Swedish rider who has made it onto the podium, Alex Alanko.
Bar spin tail tap on that quarter pipe. Double truck driver on the drop. Big extension on that front flip tuck no hander. Massive cork 7 on the step down, looking at this first hip, and he gets a no! How did he pull that around? I believe that was an opposite cork 7, just muscling it for everything. He's got opposite tail whip up, muscles the 360 around, making it happen. Backflip tail whip, living on a prayer out here.
Oh! Hey, good thing we don't have 10 features. 9 features was all that back tire was willing to hang on for. That was a crazy salvage mission after that cork 720. I don't know how he saved that.
Just muscling it around. The flip seemed to just absolutely stop mid-rotation. And he led with his, he did what he needed to do. He found the landing with his eyes, then his head turned his shoulders, but man, I cannot wait to see how he managed to get this thing around. That was the craziest rotation. So there it is on the step down, the cork 720 rotation.
Regular. Here comes the oppo. Watch the landing.
Yeah, you see his hips in the bars. That is forcing the bike around, and the bottom drops out right there. Scorpions a little bit and somehow manages to land pretty clean.
Pure willpower. I cannot believe that back tire held on all the way down to the very bottom of the course.
Yeah, that was the cause of the explosion right there. Landing side by side, he's got a pinch flat, so his tube right now is getting chewed on by his rim. Opposite tail whip up. Gets a little squirrely there, almost goes into the side railing. That is not the spot you want a NASCAR off that wall.
Most valuable player of the day is the back tire there for hanging on till the end of this run.
Comes in, slips a little pedal right there, gets the foot back on. He knows he's got that quarter pipe, it counts. That flip tail whip.
So Alex Alanko currently sitting in 14th, moves up to 11th. Grabs some of those points to see if he can stay on tour. Great to have him back.
Yeah, he was fighting that the whole way down, and what we've seen out of the judges is cleanliness is what they're looking for. One of the cleanest riders out here, Tom Isted.
He was clean in run number 1 all the way down until the final jump, where we saw Deja Vu from Cans washing out on that cash roll. He's got a crazy opposite cork 720 in the middle of this course. He's got to do it all over again and then put a big exclamation point down there on the bottom where he crashed in run number 1.
Yeah, let's hope Tom's got his head in this. Leave the pass in the past. Nice flare right there. Cork flip off the drop. Perfect double backflip right there over the first gigantic set of doubles. Regular cork 7 right there on the step down. And there's that wild opposite one, just magically bringing that bike around. Flip tail whip. Front flip, tuck no hander up, looking really, really good right here. Back flip, tuck no hander out.
Come on, Tom.
Oh! And can he get the twister around?
Oh, come on. The same exact scenario as Can. Crashing a cash roll in run number 1. Trying out the ante in run number 2. Going for the twister and crashing that as well. Oh.
Yeah, the frustration right there is strong. Man, I really liked that combo he linked together on that whale tail. The front flip, tuck no hander up, to back flip, tuck no hander out.
You know, I was curious watching that run if that backflip tail up had an opposite tail up. And you see the judges caught that. It was an opposite tail up. He was catching with his back foot.
Look at how perfect and comfortable he is on those double backflips.
This link right here, undoubtedly a highlight of the run. He's almost more dialed on this crazy opposite cork 7 than he was on the regular, albeit on the step down in the case of the regular. And here this is not just a backflip tail, but a backflip opposite tail up, lining it up, connecting to the landing on this hip jump, magnets to the pedals.
Yeah, throwing technicalities on top of technicalities, oppos on the hips. And that combination I really like right there, that tuck no-hander front flip up, tuck no-hander back flip out. And right there, it just looks like that snap off the lip took a little bit too much momentum, maybe about 6 inches under rotated right there. So frustrating for Tom.
He is ridiculously good at crashing. He's like a cat. Max Fredriksson, the king of combos. Can he get tech enough to threaten those top spots here in run number 2?
Big cranked invert.
Yes!
360 off the drop, double backflip, tail whip. Sorry, double tail whip backflip. Losing my focus here. Triple, little bit of a bobble, he recovers. That was definitely an improvisation, but that was an awesome extension on that backflip tuck no-hander. Spinning both directions, tuck no-hander out. 360. Oh man, what a run. What's he got in the quarter pipe right here? So much steez right there.
Max, you did it, man. After a crazy 3 weeks of recovery from that concussion he sustained in practice number 1 in Australia, it was a long road back that he had to cram into the span of just 3 weeks. And this is a Max Fredriksson run right here. I am so stoked for him.
That invert 3 dropping right there and that backflip double tail whip. on the biggest jump on the course. Having that jump at the top is so difficult. Going around 3 times on the hip right there. A little bit of a bobble, but a strong recovery.
Yeah, that bobble did not seem to affect him later on the course, and that's a game changer. You know, the judges can dock for a bobble like that, but it's when that deduction gets exponentially coupled to that mistake policing itself on the next feature. He recovered well here, getting huge extension on this backflip no-hander, and somehow not coming up short on this next jump.
Yeah, I don't know if that was his planned trick. Some of these riders, you can see them, they go to a go-to or a backup. For that to be his backup or go-to is pretty unreal. Spinning one way on the way up, spinning the regular way, tucking the no-hands out, and right there, the truck driver to 3 to tail whip, spinning the bike, spinning the bars, spinning the bike again the other way. So much technicality in these combinations.
Max Fredriksson is one of the best when it comes to improving when things go a little bit sour in a run. We saw him improv the 360 quadruple bar spin on the last jump in run number 1, and now here in run number 2 we got to see what he really wanted, that 360 bar to whip. And that is exactly what you're hoping for when you see Max Fredriksson at the top of a course.
The top 5 are in the 90s. Cam, have you ever seen that before?
Turns out the top 5 are in the 90s. A 90 would not crack the top 5. You need a better 90.5 to get into that elite group of riders here today. The 8th edition of Nicholi Crankworx Slopestyle Innsbruck. An 84.37, not good enough to crack into the top 5. He will slot into 8th place. Just showing the level out here today when you can do a run like that and it goes into 8th place. All right, Erik Fedko, next rider to drop. My favorite part of his first run was the link between the first and second hip in the middle of the course. 2 different variations of 360 windshield wipers. 2 different ways of doing a 360 with 2 tail ups in it. Tail up one way, tail up the other way. He had that double backflip no-hander on the second feature. Can he get it all again and then add some?
And there's the backflip drop in, looking really smooth.
Ooh, come on.
Double backflip tuck no-hander, gets the second rotation around nicely. Flip, triple bar spin.
There's
on the step down. That's what we didn't see. Now there's the windshield wiper one way. And then he gets the Indian Air Superman C-grab 360 off. Downside tail whip 3 in, flip tail whip out.
What is he gonna finish with here? Oh, the cork 7.
Cork 720. That is what Erik Fedko was looking for in that first run. We know he wasn't excited with that score he got, but he answered the call of tricking and one-upping in a lot of spots on the way down that hill.
This is a tough one to figure out what the judges are going to do with, because he improved where he left some on the table from run number 1, but he also missed that second 360 windshield wiper. But
he just realized it.
He swapped it out with his signature move, that 360 C-Crab Indian Air, which I love. He was cleaner on the Cork 7 at the bottom. This scared me.
Yeah, right here, grabbing onto the bars and yanking his head back to get that rotation to come around. Watch the delay in his head right here. As soon as he grabs the bars, snaps his head around to get that momentum going. That's how you can control that rotational speed. And then this right here, we didn't see any bar spins in the first run. That time able to get him around 3 times.
A little bit of bubble there. That's why he decided to improv. I'm really happy he went for this trick right here. Obviously, he wanted this 360 windshield wiper with the tail ups going in reverse order, but that was perfect execution of the trademark Erik Fedko move, the 360 C-Crab Indian Air. Maybe the best extension I've ever seen him do with that trick.
Yeah, both feet completely over his head. Flip whipping down, huge risk with that trick. And then corking out this 720.
This was cleaner, but for a second I thought he may move the other 360 windshield wiper to that last jump. I was thinking, whoa, that would really bring it all together. All right, score coming in for run 2 from Erik Fedko. What's it going to be? He's in the 90s, 94.12. He's into podium contention. Erik Fedko sitting in 3rd. He's fired up. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's what's up right there. After clawing his way back from that ankle injury, it's got to feel good, man. It's been a while since he's been on the podium. Let's see if he can hold on to it. We got Nicholi Rogatkin at the top of the course. He was the first rider to drop in run number 1. He dropped hammers. We're going to take a look back at it in 2 different ways here. On board with his GoPro angle, as well as a straight replay from his run. We remember when he landed, he said he had more for run 2. Look at that twister.
Yeah, unbelievable angle there with that 360 camera doing that twister. And then there we have the cork 7 on the step down, getting that double tail whip on the first hip. Second hip right here, that was that cash roll. Was that a bar spin cash roll? It was hard to tell there. And that right there, he wanted to take that other hand off the handlebars, able to keep his momentum going and gets a full run in. Double backflipping off that Showtime booter. Yes, it's been a long time since he's ridden. Let's hope he's warm and ready to go. If anybody's ready at any point in time, it's Nicholi Rogatkin.
Hard to believe that that run is only sitting in 8th right now. He's so strategic. He knew as soon as he finished that run that he would need more today to crack into the podium. He's been on the podium twice here in Innsbruck in the past. Let's see if he can do it again.
360X up in. There's that 1080 corked twister is what they call it. There's the corked 7 on the step down. Triple tail it. Oh. Just getting a little off axis right there with the hip.
Good to see him slide out of that one, but missing the triple whip in run number 1 was one of the regrets he verbalized at the bottom of the course. He was pulling out all the stops here in run number 2. Unfortunately, he got caught downside on that triple whip.
Crowd giving it up, appreciating every ounce of effort Nicholi has today. Looking back at that triple tail up, there's 1.
Look at the hips though, they're not lined up to that landing.
There's 2, yeah, and they're getting more rotated the wrong direction as he's going.
The 3rd whip, his hips were 90 to the landing. Look at this, a nice slide out. Nobody wears more protection than Nicholi Rogatkin. He's a smart man, and that's why he pops up quickly from those crashes.
Yeah, nothing but frustration right there for Nicholi. Definitely had an opportunity to gain some very valuable points based on his position, but we're back up to the top.
Okay, we heard that the judges potentially deducted from Tim Bringer's run 1 score because he had 2 double backflips in his run. They like to see a well-rounded run with flawless execution. He also bobbled a bit on that 360 bar spin, a downside tail up. He recovered miraculously, but the judges want to see spotless execution.
Yeah, Tim Bringer's run with a 90.5 and a deduction. So let's see if he can kind of rework his trick list here and improve on that score and get himself back on the podium.
He 100% has what it takes. Can he put it together?
Backflip tuck no-hander off the drop. Backflip double tail up to bar spin, so he's according to schedule right here. Huge double backflip on the step down, landing a little low.
Got it.
Gets that 360 double tail whip off. Ooh. Was that a triple truck driver?
He modified.
Cash roll up. Triple truck driver down. Backflip, tuck no-hander, double backflip.
He says, oh, you don't like it when I do 2 double backflips and run. How about I take my hands off on the second one?
So looking back at his run cam, we did have 2 double truck drivers, but there was a difference. One of them was on a hip. level of difficulty. It's gonna surely show through in Bringer's score.
Okay, obviously the elephant in the room is not getting that trick that he barely saved in run number 1. He decided to play it a little bit more safe on the second hip. But
that
huge extension
right there, man. Can't say enough about that. A flat drop, backflip tuck no-hander, but then following it up with a double tail whip to bar spin backflip, quadruple combo on the biggest jump here. Nothing you could say could make that any better.
Look how low he lands here. He's probably gonna go out of frame before he touches down.
Yeah, absolutely does. That was a solid call, Cam.
Here we go, this jump coming up. He had the 360 bar spin to downside tail before. He goes for it. Man, was that a 360 X up to bar spin? It was tough to tell. Let's see what the judges called it.
Yeah, it was hard to tell on that angle.
They called it a 360 bar to opposite bar back, so really tech move. Probably did that on purpose to play it safe after what happened in run number 1.
Cash rolling up, getting that triple truck driver down the whale tail.
That's the game changer right there. That's what the judges are going to be placing all their energy on. Finishing with the huge banger, which does two things. Improves upon what he used to finish his run in run number 1, but also makes it so he didn't have 2 double backflips in his run. That was a crucial move right there in the final feature. Tim Bringer has tasted silver, never tasted gold here on the Crankworx Slopestyle World Tour, and this is what the judges are crunching right now.
Yeah, they're looking at these comparisons, looking at some really long combinations right there. Definitely standing out, having to move to that smaller font for how much Godziek got done on that whale tail section of the track. 96.75 is the high mark. Absolutely insane score.
Does Tim Bringer's second run have what it takes to knock out the 96.75 of David Godziek? Bearing in mind, we still get to watch Emil Johansson take to this course, among others. Tim Bringer's run 2 score coming in to 95.62. Tim Bringer into second place, knocking Emil Johansson into third. Oh, backed into a corner, man. Oh, the stage is set for an insane few runs here to come.
The level of competition here is insane. Look at that. A 93.25 is 5th place for Chance Moore. These riders absolutely stepping it up. This course is providing the platform. The crowd has them stoked. The scenery, the weather, it's showing right here.
Okay, have a listen to this, Alan. I just received word that Paul Couderc and Chance Moore are happy with their run 1 scores. Of course, Chance Moore with a flawless first run in his rookie appearance. Paul Couderc wasn't even sure if he was going to ride today, and then he stomped that banger first run. So they're going to train this one down to the bottom, flow it smooth, and clear the way for the last rider at the top of the course with that opportunity to take the win here today. That will be Emil Johansson. So we're going to celebrate briefly here for the performances from these 2 riders and then prepare for the storm that's about to roll into this course. Emil Johansson backed into a corner. We love to see it.
There's nothing wrong with that right there, taking that run, waving off the opportunity to up their score. That's risk management right there, and that's what is going to lengthen your career.
This is good. This is why we fly all over the world and set these stages. It's for circumstances like this. These riders train so hard all year, dedicating their lives to this sport for these high-pressure situations. Just a year ago, we saw a very similar circumstance. Emil Johansson at the top of the course without the top score. Can he dig deep? After run number 1, we know he has more.
Yeah, we also know that he likes being in this situation. Backed up against a wall. He has been wanting to unveil a lot of different tricks and combinations over the years that he's just not had to do.
I know, but I'm just saying.
And if there was ever any criticism on his career, it's he hadn't had to step it up, but he can do that, and he's shown it already once here today. Let's see what he can do in run number 2.
So, Emil Johansson likes what he sees from those flags. Here we go.
Foot jam on that quarter pipe, nose press.
Whoa, did he recover?
360 can. Is he still rolling? Is he still moving?
Here we go, I just turned around. We got that opposite 3-whip on the dirt-to-dirt step down.
360 bar spin to downside tail whip. Opposite 360 bar to bar. It's a little bit off angle there. It looks like he might be just calling it right there. Yeah, he got so loose on that nose press to 360 to can. His foot that was staying on the pedal floated off. How he was able to keep going, I have no idea. But Godziek.
Look at this right now. David Godziek makes it back-to-back wins here. The Triple Crown still alive for David Godziek as he demonstrates sportsmanship here. Congratulates Emil Johansson on a swing and a miss, but another hard-fought battle between two of the world's most elite athletes. The level of competition in slopestyle, ridiculous. One thing I gotta point out is we talked about after run number 1 how tech that nose press nollie 360 one-footed can is. Emil just showed us how easy it is for that one to go wrong. So Emil Johansson with the bronze, Tim Bringer silver, and David Godziek makes it 2 golds in a row.
What should I do? Put your arms in the air, my man. You are a 2-time winner here at the Crankworx Slopestyle event. 2 in a row, that is. Looking at a possible Triple Crown win. And where would be a better place to win a Triple Crown than Whistler Valley?
Yeah, I'm not gonna miss that. Look at those podium scores. So high.
Yeah, Chance Moore getting a 93.25, I think it was. Amazing.
David, this season has been insane so far. I mean, we were even thinking back to last year when you and Emil were battling it out. We saw both of you backed into a corner today after you weren't able to stomp run number 1. There was a lot of pressure for run number 2. How did you pull it off?
Yeah, actually, some pressure went off after my crash in the first run. All I was focusing on, I just wanted to make it to the bottom. I missed a few things, but the judges still like my run, so I'm super stoked and yeah, actually speechless on another first place. Can't be more stoked.
Crazy to think that you had even more in the tank. You just said you missed a couple things. Well, one thing that is still up for grabs for only you is the Triple Crown. Have you given that any thought yet? We got one more stop left to go in Whistler.
Yeah, please don't remind me that one more time. I'm just gonna focus on doing the best performance in Whistler, and let's see what that brings.
Hey, Innsbruck, let's hear it for David Godziek grabbing the win.
Thank you very much.
Another case, Alan, of I had more. All right, let's look back at this official winning run here at Thule Slopestyle Innsbruck from David Godziek.
Yeah, nothing to be said about this run. Such an amazing comeback from him right there with the twister, tuck no-hander, 3-whipping down the step down, triple tail whip here on the first hip, bar spin cash roll. That was where we saw him have trouble on his first run, but keeping it going with triple combos up into the whale tail, triple combos out, and then the cash roll, tail whip. Unbelievable run from top to bottom.
That cashy whip has been serving Godziek well this year. He used that to cap off both of his gold medal winning runs this 2024 season. This time around, it scored him a 96.75. You got to give it to Chance Moore there. Top 5 in his rookie performance. And to think that he was sitting in the hot seat most of the day.
Yeah, I think we're going to hear a lot more of Chance Moore in the future. He's showing a lot of maturity as a rookie. I mean, making the decision to sit out Cans was a smart move. And then today, taking that second run off, knowing that it's not worth the risk. We're going to definitely be seeing a lot of Chance Moore based on those scores and those things. But look at the rest of the riders here. Unfortunately, Torquato Testa not making it back for his second run. But yeah, man, look at the scores. The riding, the level today was unbelievable.
Also, Erik Fedko nicely climbing himself back into the ranks. The rider with multiple podiums, started out this season with a 5th. Now he's climbed up to 4th. So pacing himself nicely with one more stop to go in Whistler, where we will see Emil Johansson looking to get back to where he's most comfortable, which is that top spot. He takes the bronze here today, but we'll mostly be focusing our anticipation on seeing if David Godziek will be able to add his name to that prestigious Crankworx Triple Crown Trophy. Well, plenty to digest here from the women's and the men's field on this Nicholi Slopestyle. Innsbruck, don't go away.
I'ma fly high, I'ma fly high, I'ma fly high, I'ma fly high.
It's time again for 3-second free falls and pure thrills in unique places worldwide.
This is going to be the most incredible season we have ever had.
Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series 2024. Live on Red Bull TV.
Look at the time from Stevie Smith. He takes his first ever World Cup win.
The making of a legend. Stevie Smith, a.k.a. the Chainsaw.
He was a bit unpredictable, he was creative, he was wild.
He did have a great life, full of giggles and laughs and adrenaline.
The untold story of a true champion. Long live Chainsaw. Now available on Red Bull TV.
Really awesomely fun.
A look at the venue there as the dust settles on another groundbreaking slopestyle competition here from a venue that always delivers for the past 8 seasons. Kind of looking at the numbers and taking a look at what some of these new stats mean. Tim Bringer getting his 4th second place right now. When's he gonna get that win?
Man, yeah, it's a good question. He kind of had that little bit of a miscue where he got that, points deduction with the double flip. He was over the 90s with a point deduction. So that obviously says that he can do it.
I mean, the top 2 runs, though, it's really fun to have the ability to list these tricks side by side. We were wondering, were the opposite tricks of Emil Johansson going to be able to stack up against the bangers of David Godziek? For the past 2 seasons, we've been saying it's only a matter of time before these bangers are bound to take the win, and the judges making their opinions clear out there today.
Yeah, definitely. The pressure was on Emil in the end, but looking at these trick lists, is this a video game? Was this a video game run, or did we just actually witness this all happening in one run? That is unbelievable.
We've gone from going, all right, can bangers beat the opposite tricks? And now we're going, okay, cool. The top 2 runs are the ones that contain the bangers, and the opposite tricks are now relegated to 3rd place. Do you think that's a shift in the trend that we can expect to see now for the future of slopestyle, or do you think this is an isolated circumstance where Emil just left some on the table?
I think it comes down to the cleanliness of the runs. Like, I do believe that Emil's run was good enough to win, but he was a little bit sketchy in a couple of moments. It wasn't as dialed and perfect as we saw with Godziek and Bringer's runs.
And the fact that Godziek keeps saying, you know what, I had a little bit more, I wish I could have pushed a little bit harder, but he's won the last 2 stops.
Yeah, to think that there's more than this is crazy to me. But looking at this and what I think really pushed his score up was the cleanliness of it. Where his tires were landing, how much extension he had, the height that he had, the ability to keep his run going and doing big tricks the entire way down. And obviously that right there, only rider I've seen do that.
I think a big part as well is squeezing in that 3-part combo onto the whale tail. It's the front flip bar spin to tuck no-hander. You think about what we saw Emil going for in practice. He had a front flip suicide no-hander, and I believe he was just getting a front flip in his run. So missing those combos that he's capable of, whereas Godziek was able to squeeze that orange for all the juice that was left in it.
Yeah, I mean, really looking at the top 5 and all those scores, the top 6, all those scores in the 90s, that really shows how close these competitors are, because really any of those riders could take the win out here or get themselves on the podium. Today it was nice to see Godziek back up his win at Cannes, but man, it's anybody's game out here.
It's not anybody's game for the Triple Crown. Godziek is the only one with that still available to him. The same could be said in the women's field for Robin Goomes, backing up her win from stop number 1 in New Zealand with her win here today. Alma Wiggberg forced her to earn this one, didn't she?
Yeah, Alma Wiggberg had to step up her game. Ended up going down at the end, but here's the run that we saw, taking the gold medal here. Robin Goomes, massive backflip on that first set, and really what did it for her, we saw the judges rewarding this, was tricks on every single jump with clean extension, looking smooth, and right here, she knew that. Right here, she came out a little bit loose, but decided to squeak that toboggan in, had no dead airs, straight into the flick X up. Amazing run out of Robin Goomes today.
Well, there's only one thing left to do, and that's to pop the champagne, make this venue smell the way victory smells out here for the 8th time here at this iconic venue. Let's check in with our in-house announcers and watch this podium go down.
Okay, dann starten wir mit dem 3. Platz der Damenwertung. In 3rd place, aus den USA, representing the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen, Shealen Reno! Come on, Innsbruck!
Da gibt es erst den Siegerscheck und dann die Bronzemedaille von unserem nagelneuen Bürgermeister Johannes Anzengruber. So, Andi, auf dem 3. Platz bei den Herren. Oh, jetzt habe ich so ein bisschen Angst, weil ich glaube, das wird jetzt nochmal so richtig laut. Ladies and gentlemen, in 3rd place from Sweden, make some noise for Emil Johansson!
I'll tell you what, Alan, it's been a long time since we've seen Emil on the 3rd step of the podium. It's the first time we've seen Shealen Reno there, backing up her pair of 5th places from the first 2 stops. Now, steady climb into podium contention using those combos. But Emil, you know, even on a day where things don't go his way, he's still bringing home some hardware.
Yeah, definitely not what he came here to get, but he has fire in the tank, and he'll be looking forward to Whistler, as well as Alma Wiggberg, 2nd place here today. Able to step up her game, just sliding out on that final jump, but still walking away knowing that shoulder is durable is a huge win for Alma out here today.
Big time. 2 podiums in a row. I would have loved to have seen what Robin would have done if Alma stomped that 360 at the end, because you gotta believe that would have gone into the lead. Silvers for this man. So close, so many times. It's gotta happen. It's gotta happen one of these days.
Yeah, we know he's got the capability. It's just gotta all come together.
Richtig aufgestellt. Da holen wir uns die Gewinnerin aus Neuseeland, representing New Zealand, the winner, Robin Goomes!
Robin Goomes for her 2nd top step this season, keeping herself in the hunt for that Triple Crown. We'll have some big hardware up for grabs once we get to Whistler, but right now it's all about today, and Robin Goomes making it happen, winning her second slopestyle event here at Crankworx.
So big prize money on the line for any rider who can win 3 of the 4 stops on the Crankworx Slopestyle World Tour. Robin Goomes has won 2 so far with 1 stop left to go. She's got a chance to grab that big check, but the pressure will be on. We've seen riders in the past fold under that pressure. We've seen riders triumph. Emil Johansson has won it 3 times. Nicholi Rogatkin has won it once. David Godziek also still in the running for the Triple Crown, going into Whistler for the men. We heard him in that final interview there say, yeah, please don't bring that up. I don't need to start thinking about that yet, or ever.
So awesome to see Godziek breaking that barrier, getting away from those seconds and thirds. Now he's a consistent winner. That momentum and that motivation that can give you and that confidence can give you is huge.
What a day here. The weather holding out, providing a great backdrop and perfect conditions for another historic edition of Crankworx Slopestyle. I love the fact that we have so many stories going into our final stop in the birthplace of Crankworx, Whistler, BC. We'll see these riders take to the Boneyard next month.
Emil Johansson jumping the gun. He's usually the last man to get the champagne handed to him. So much excitement. Everybody on the podium deserving of this spot right here. Oh, Shealen's gonna do a Hattie. Is that a thing?
Yeah, that's a thing in Texas, man. Look at the size of the crowd out here. Slopestyle always delivers. Beautiful sunny day and big action from the top riders in the world when it comes to slopestyle. But guess what? We're not done for the day yet. We have the pump track broadcast coming up next as we see these riders grabbing their prizes. I've got a prize for you. Not only do I want to invite you to join us 4:30 p.m. local time to the Crankworx Innsbruck Pump Track Challenge presented by Raiffeisen Club, I want to give you a prize as well. Big shout out to Tigo Shoutison. You are the winner of this nice piece of Crankworx Innsbruck 2024 merchandise signed by Emil Johansson, Max Langell, David Godziek, Lucas Huppert, Robin Goomes, Caroline Buchanan, and Alma Wiggberg. A few of those riders you're watching on the podium right now. Hey, guess what? This has been so fun for us. I've been your host, Cam McCall, alongside our analyst, Alan Cook. We couldn't do it without you. Thanks for joining us. Not only will we see you in Whistler for the final stop, but we'll see you in a couple hours for Pump Track. See you in a bit.
I don't sleep, I proceed to work. Your routine, it just seem rehearsed. Your whole team better leave reverse. That mean disperse like good day and seen the worst. It's getting vital like you've seen a nurse. I got them quiet, I don't hear a chirp. I get inspired when I sing the verse. They all mean, but I don't seem to curse. There I go, I do my thing. I got drive, lot of room in my lane. I made a move when I came, I'm something different.